right, I'm waiting on my brother. We should be getting started here pretty soon. So we'll just let a few people pile on in this room. Go ahead and come on in. Talking about Kyrie, Ye, and Dave Chappelle being attacked as proxy for all black men. So yeah, we're gonna have to talk about that today. And if we have some of these people who do not like what we're talking about as black folks, well, need to let us know that you disagree, but why? Because one thing I think that these people are mad at is that Dave Chappelle didn't attack Kyrie Irving and Kanye. He basically kept it on the surface, kept it a buck. So I don't have no problem. I think people saw clips of Dave Chappelle and kind of a jump to assume that he was trying to get in good graces with them people. But no, I would beg to say anybody needs to go listen to the entire monologue, and then you'll kind of get an understanding of how he was trying to convey a certain message. So yes, shout out to Dave Chappelle. He pretty much kept it a buck and kept it real. And then also there was an instance where people got hella quiet when he started talking about how you can't blame Black Americans for what happened over there in Europe, which is a fact. And it's so funny that everybody just got silent and the crowd was dead silent. So just noticing, like, when you have a group like that, why on that point would you get quiet? So that says a lot. That's very telling of a societal situation as far as it comes to anti-blackness. So I hope nobody missed that if you got a chance to see it. But yeah, we are waiting on my brother here. So as y'all are coming in, if you could do me a real big favor and tweet out this space, if you could retweet this space out, that would be great. So much appreciative to all of y'all. And yeah, there we go. There's my brother getting in here now. Right. There we go. All right, just shot you the co-host. All right. Okay, Black Alpha Network. Can you hear me, brother?
Loud and clear, brother. How you feeling?
Man, good, brother. How's it looking out there?
Oh man, it's actually cold, family.
Oh wow.
Yeah, well, cold here is like in the 50s. I know up there, cold is in the 30s and shit. You feel me?
Yeah, exactly.
He's like, hey, listen, I don't want to hear about no cold in the 50s, man. Get out of here with that shit.
Oh shoot, I talked to this woman from New York yesterday, so she was like, "This ain't cold." So, and it is 52, and I guess basically clear out here, so it's not too bad today.
All right. Yeah, man, it got cold on us, man. The other day it was like 80 degrees, and then the cold rolled in. Yeah, now, brother, I was like, I ain't ready for this right now, family.
Man, did y'all get hit by Nicole at all?
Say it again.
Did you guys get hit by Nicole at all?
It actually had went like kind of like right above us, but there was 2 days where it was pretty much some tropical storm type vibe. It was some tropical storm. It wasn't as bad typically because we done been in a couple of those and hurricanes, but it was pretty rough, man. It typically doesn't really happen in November. I think like the latest I remember is around late October, some type of bad tropical storm weather. But yeah, it came in. It was pretty good, man. Me and Queen Alpha was in here just chilling, though, man. I made the most of that.
I know that's right. Yeah, I was talking to my dad. He pretty much did the same thing. So again, on the subject and conversation of what we're talking about today with the Kyrie, Ye, and the Chappelle being attacked as proxy for all black men. Did you get a chance to see Dave Chappelle's monologue?
I did, family. I definitely caught it, brother. And I knew it was coming. Dave Chappelle's he's a master with his words. He's very slick with his words, so he could take shots and do his things or whatever. But I knew there was going to be some smoke for him because, they've been trying to get Dave Chappelle for 20 years now. You know, so I knew something was going to pop off with that situation. And, you know, I see, you know, the smoke that they got for our brother right now. But remember, you know, Dave Chappelle, and when anybody forget, they were sending motherfuckers on stage to attack Dave Chappelle about 5-6 months ago. So this is the whole platform and the whole situation that's occurring, and we watching it all play out. So I want to today bring some light to it and break down every single person, not just the public figures, but people privately, because I feel like a war against a celebrity black person is a war against a regular black person. A war against black men is a war against black women. A war against black men and women, obviously, is against the black family. So I want to tie all that in and connect the dots to show the family how, you know, when we stick together, we're stronger together. And, you know, that's where we pretty much are right now.
Big facts, brother. And so, yeah, I guess we can get right on into it. I see we have Val that just came to the stage. So you can go ahead and unmute yourself, Val. Go ahead, sister.
Oh, yeah. Hey, thanks for letting me come up to speak with y'all. Yeah, I saw it last night, and it was hilarious. I mean, it was really funny. I love Dave Chappelle, like hearing him, you know, when he's on stage. And, yeah, he did get in some trouble with the LBGT community months ago, and I thought he had pretty much, you know, they had retired him, but he came back strong last night. Did you like that? What he was saying about Trump? How Trump was on stage with Hillary and Barack. That was really funny.
Yes, indeed. That was fun.
That was too funny. I was like,
very accurate.
and I mean, he quoted him word for word, and it's like he told y'all.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was hilarious. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Val. Thank you for speaking. You can always come up anytime you want to and come enjoy the conversation. So okay. But no, if Val, if you want to come back up, you most definitely can. Let's see. Get you back on there. There you go. So with what we're talking about with the some people call them small hats. We could just say I like to identify these people as Shemitic Edomites, because see, one thing they often say is hey, you're anti-Semitic. Oh, no. We're going to give you the correct prefix with this. And I was just, what's so funny is I was with Kid Gravity this morning on his live, and I'm talking about, brother, they were messing with the stream so tough that it eventually just kicked me out. So just knowing that the powers that be don't like these conversations. And one of the things that they often do is they often like to go to the people that are not as learned on certain subjects and then throw the mic and every ounce of attention that way. So because there's people out here that people could obviously confer with. And what do you see when you see that? Like how people, hey man, I know this dude doesn't really know anything, so let's ask all of these questions that we should be asking the scholars and the teachers but instead let's just ask this lowly basketball player. You feel what I'm saying, brother?
Absolutely, family. I always speak about misrepresentation. It's always miseducation, misdirection, and misrepresentation. And one of the main things of misrepresentation is to get people who really don't represent us, not intellectually or no aspect at all, no category. I can't stand that. I can't stand that these people get on television like they speak for us. And I think everybody right now can say a time or multiple times where you watch television or any type of platform and you've seen somebody that was getting asked these questions and you to yourself would be like, man, I can answer that in 2 seconds. But then you see this athlete or this dumbass motherfucker who can't even get it out right, and they just all the way through. And all that does is give a false representation of how we feel as a community. So therefore, since the scholars and the intellectual people aren't getting, their word heard, and we're starting to instead, hear a bunch of people who really can't carry a conversation, that doesn't move the needle any. And we pretty much get stuck in the same place. And not only that, a lot of times these people are saying things that are contradicting to what the consensus of the community is. And that's why they love the big old buck, you know what I'm saying? And all this stuff ties in together. And that's what definitely we want to break down today, is how the assault on the black family, the assault on the black woman, the assault on the black man, it all ties in. You can connect the dots to all of these type of situations because everybody has some type of goal at the end to get rid of us. And no matter how they can do it, they're going to do it. And they can't tie us to the whipping post, but they can tie the whipping post to us. This is just modern day buck breaking. And these guys are nothing but prepaid bucks. These are prepaid bucks. They know what their job is. Remind you, they're not getting paid in money. They're getting paid in butter biscuits, like always. These are the same people who used to sell us out back in the day. And that's the person that they want to put on television. You know, the Shaquille O'Neals of the world, the Shannon Sharps of the world, Charles Barkley's of the world. We all know what these people are. We know exactly the type of energy and the time that they're on, and we know who they work for. When you see videos of LeBron James out here snuggling up next to the dominant society and, you know, particular individuals, and then the next week he comes out and he says something nefarious about Kyrie Irving, then we already understand the play that he's on. So this is who we have to, you know, get rid of. At the end of the day, the last 4 or 5 years, we've been on that mission to get the real truth speaking black folks in front of the camera instead of the people who speak the bullshit. Once we get them completely out the paint, then we can speak for ourselves. Because remember, you're not going to go anywhere if you can't even speak for yourself. So as long as the Stephen A. Smiths of the world and the Shannon Sharp speak for us, we're going to get that type of energy. Once we remove them, we on game.
Real talk. And it's funny that you said that too. Prepaid bed buck. And look at the whole Shaq situation right now. So they're trying to get on this brother. And it's funny too with the Ronald Dalton brother, who actually is the producer and the writer of Hebrews and Negroes. You know, I've already seen them trying to throw him under the bus with the whole, well, you know, he's a big Democratic donor and he's donated to Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton. So now all of a sudden they're trying to throw that out there on this brother. Now they still have yet to actually address him, but they've added some disclaimers, I guess, to the film, which is very interesting, which one of the notes is that this dude is some kind of Democratic donor, which, yeah, that's neither here nor there. But I can't help but notice every single time black folks are starting to identify themselves, same with foundational black Americans. Look at everybody who got upset and their feathers are ruffled because we are identifying ourselves. Every time we end up identifying ourselves, then we have people popping out of nowhere saying we're wrong for doing so. And like I said with Shaq, he called Kyrie an idiot for just posting this link when he is actually the person who had it running in 10 of his theaters, screening it. So it's amazing to me how fast these dudes can flip on a dime. And also, none of this is new. Like, this brother has been on Instagram for years. I've seen this dude on Instagram for years. Why now is it a problem? You understand what I'm saying, brother?
Actually, brother, I'm glad you brought that up, family, because there's so many things when you start dealing with these prepaid bucks, is what we call them. These prepaid bucks, a lot of shit that you see is completely contradiction. Like you said, Shaquille O'Neal actually put this movie out. No talk. Nobody speaks on that. That just goes hush, hush. They speak all the way around that because, like we said, they have their agenda and they got their job title. Shaquille O'Neal also was a guy here tap dancing for motherfucking Papa John's. And we all know about that racist, whole organization. You know what I'm saying? No talk on that. And like you said, the very fact that he refers to this man as an idiot, and he's speaking on these terms like it's some type of he did some evil deed. Can I say this for everybody out there? Kyrie Irving hasn't committed any crime. Like, there's no crime. Like, he's being punished to the fullest extent of the law, and the motherfucking man ain't broke no goddamn laws. You feel me? This is what it is. This is how they publicly get black folks. They'll have you in here thinking literally that he's done some type of crime. Matter of fact, brother Kyrie didn't even say nothing. He posted a motherfucking link. And this is the type of energy that they send towards him. You feel me? And I got to say this as well. We know this for a fact. Over the last 5 or 6 years since we've really been truly, genuinely identifying our heritage, our lineage, and our culture. Isn't it funny how we can say that we are foundational black Americans, we built this country, and everybody else can say, nope, we did. This whole year, you got motherfuckers flying in from all over the earth, and they're trying to claim our lineage. They're saying they co-created hip hop. They really built the country. Isn't it funny how people can steal our lineage, our heritage, and our culture and claim it as their own? But a brother like Kyrie Irving can't say that he's Hebrew. Isn't that funny how? It's funny how a black person can't claim another heritage or a lineage or say that they're the descendant of, but everybody can do that to us. We got to keep that in reality. That's one thing that a lot of folks is missing here. The very fact that our community, our lineage, our creations is just one big open fucking door where everybody can come on in and say that it's theirs. But let a black person say that they have any form of modern, ancient, biblical fucking heritage or whatever, then it becomes a crime. Because that's really, at the end of the day, that's really what's going on with Kyrie Irving. Kyrie Irving is being punished for claiming a lineage or a heritage or a bloodline that they don't want him claiming. Now, that's funny because a lot of motherfuckers come over here and they claim our lineage, our heritage, and our bloodline, and we know goddamn well they're not. So we got to start seeing those two differences. We got to see the dichotomy within both of those, and we got to start calling it out. It can't be that everybody can come on in and put our hat on and say that what we built is theirs. But at the same time, a brother like Kyrie can't even post a link to some things that, you know, go back in time, and he gets punished for it like he committed some type of evil crime or some dastardly event. Bullshit. And that just shows you the double-sided things and the way that you have two different sets of laws. One law is written on paper, and that's for everybody else. And then there's another law that's not written down, but it's understood. And those are the laws that we are always subjected to. You feel me, fam?
I absolutely feel you, brother. Because the one thing we definitely do not do is we do not single out groups of white supremacy. We keep it focused on white supremacy, and what's happening to Kyrie and Chappelle are products of white supremacy. Now, I will say this to Kanye. Kanye definitely went out there and was saying abrasive things, and I'm not necessarily saying what he said was true or false, but what I will say is the way he went about it was probably not in the best of tact. You know what I'm saying? The best tactic to do, because you're behind enemy lines. So you always got to make sure that you keep that in mind and you move accordingly. Now, I know people say, oh, well, he's just speaking his mind and the truth. Yeah, but when you're dealing with a beast that can make you, $1.5 billion lighter in the pockets within 24 hours, I think it is time to really seriously consider strategy. You feel what I'm saying?
Bezilla?
Yes, sir.
Hey, greetings, man. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Go ahead, brother.
Man, I ain't talked to you yet, man, but you got a good channel. Shout out to Black Alpha and all the rest of y'all, man. Y'all doing it.
Thank you,
get
brother.
Me? This
Yes,
crew, Rayality. Y'all be saying royalty. It's Rayality.
Oh, Rayality. Gotcha.
Yeah, I'm Ray, and I make the thing my reality, right? No, but I'm rock with you. I rock with what Black Alpha just said. I forgot exactly what I was going to quote him on. But yeah, Kanye, he was too abrasive. Like you said, when you're behind enemy lines, you don't do that. You get me? You don't go to the wrong side of town and say, F the GDs when you know what I mean? I'm from Chicago. But like you don't do that in the wrong place. If you get me. So that was Kanye's problem. But it's not, I'm not saying, like you said, I'm not saying he said anything wrong or right, but he shouldn't have did it like that. Kyrie never said anything. I've got the book upstairs. I got the part 2 upstairs. And like, there's nothing in there. They're just reciting what people said throughout history. You quoting people and saying, this is what so-and-so said. You know how writing a paper is. But yeah, they're overdoing it. So my first time back on in a while. So but thanks, Bezilla. I'm a land.
Yes, sir, my brother. Appreciate it, man. Appreciate it. I'll see you in the chats often, man. So I appreciate hearing from you, my brother. And yeah, just like you were saying, man, Kyrie didn't do anything. Like the vilification of that brother is like, I want y'all to take note. Because remember something that brother Tariq Nasheed always says, and I believe also PBT as well. They love making a example out of an innocent black man, and they want to make him like you making Kyrie Irving the boogeyman. And I have to ask, like, well, okay, because somebody also brought it up, the fact that he also refused to get that jab. Yes. But now that you see he is conducting himself as a Hebrew, wouldn't that be part of the way that he's actually conducting himself anyway? So not only are you upset at the fact that he claims it, but you're also upset at the fact that he is living it. That is very extremely deep. And
Hey,
why?
I don't mean to. I don't mean to interrupt you, but
Uh-huh.
I agree. I'm sorry for interrupting. But I agree. Like they hold grudges. They'll
Yes,
come
they
get
do.
you for some. Like I got a buddy that I grew up with since 2 years old. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
He hold grudges. You know what I mean? Like I'm 40, 41, finna be 42 soon. He still remembers what happened at 10 years old, at 8 years old. You know what I mean?
Mm.
Like they still remember, and like I used to sleep over at his crib and everything. Mama feed me, he sleep over in my crib and everything. So,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, I've come to that understanding. Like when I was about getting out of high school or whatnot. Like that's when I got into
Mm.
the hip hop and got into the more Black Power stuff and whatnot. Cause
Mm.
I was, I'm living out here in the burbs in Chicago. You know what I mean?
Got you.
I grew up with them.
Right.
But I also figured some things out along my way.
Now, let me ask you this. So, like, because you having a close-handed experience. Um, would you say, just in general practice, that there is probably I guess, uh, some distance put between their community and ours, except for in certain cases? Can you say that?
Yeah. Cause look, I could be at his crib, he'll be at my crib. We'll sleep over. Both our parents will take care of us like we're each their
Mm-hmm.
own sons, right? But I remember one day, 11 years old, we're walking to get cigarettes. Yeah, it's Chicago. So but he said, man, I'm happy. I'm a white man in America. But I didn't
Mm.
know what to say to that at 11. He's 6 months younger than me, but we're going to get cigarettes. You get me?
Mm. Mm-hmm.
You get me? But now that I see everything, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like I've been getting deeper and deeper. I've been listening to Jason for like 10 years. My step pops got all the Tyreek's movies.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? We're on it like my step pops, his mentors. You heard of Hockey Matabuti?
But not too.
Third World Third World Press. They published the ISIS papers, Destruction of Black Civilization, the original
Okay. Got it.
prints.
Got it.
Yeah, that's my people. But I don't want to say too much. But yeah, I'm just introducing myself since I ain't. But I'm trying to stay on topic though
No, no.
too.
Thank
But
you. Yeah, let me get back to it, brother. Um, so
all right,
with what I'm saying and with the whole Kyrie situation, this brother has not done anything. And then now you also just heard these people hold grudges, and they often have shown it in let's see, perfect example, Bill Cosby. Bill Cosby was trying to, I guess, maybe be a little too big for his britches in buying NBC. And what did they have to do? They had to put him back in his place. You feel what I'm saying, brother?
I remember what's my man's name? Eddie Griffin, the comedian. Eddie Griffin. Remember he did that interview and he said black men don't make it out clean. You
Facts.
remember that, fam? You know what I'm saying? And when you really genuinely look at it, I mean, you could just go down the list. Every brother who's ever come up, and you can go way back in the day, they've always slandered and smeared them to bring them down. Muhammad Ali, we could start with that. They took Muhammad Ali's prime away from him. They took his all that shit where they love Muhammad Ali now. That's a lie. That's a lie. That's a lie. That's a lie. They hated Muhammad Ali. They didn't really have any love for Muhammad Ali until he got ill and he couldn't speak anymore. Trust and believe. The way he spoke, if Muhammad Ali didn't lose his faculties and he was able to speak in the 80s and the 90s, it would have been a game changer. They would have hated him because they hated Muhammad Ali when he was whooping their ass. So they took his prime away from him. They did that to Muhammad Ali. They're doing the same exact thing to Kyrie Irving. I would be shocked. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm gonna say some shit that a lot of people ain't really been thinking. I question Kyrie Irving's career. I question how much they're really going to genuinely bring this brother back. He's already went over the limit of his suspension. And y'all know how this stuff starts to snowball and they continue it and continue it. And then they're going to probably have something else for Kyrie Irving next year. Think about it. That'll go on 3 years in a row because they got Kyrie Irving last year. Then they got him this year. And I want everybody to also highlight and examine the way that they reeled him in. Think about it. They started off with Kanye West. And I agree with what you brothers were saying. Kanye was real reckless. And Kanye Two people can do the same thing or say the same thing for two different reasons. Kanye was doing some tap dancing. All right. He was doing a lot of tap dancing and then they got his ass. But at the end of the day, it goes to show you when you start dealing with these dominant society and these characters out here, they don't give a fuck who's tap dancing. They don't give a fuck who's not tap dancing. They're going to tie everybody to the whipping post. They want everybody. But I sat here and I watched it. They started off with Kanye West and then they had to reel in Kyrie. I knew it. I was like, they're going to reel Kyrie into this shit. Somehow, they reeled in Kyrie to Kanye, and now they're reeling in Dave Chappelle to Kyrie. Think about this shit. They're one by one reeling brothers into the same shit. I'll say it like this. Had Kanye not said what he said, they wouldn't have came after Kyrie, and then therefore they wouldn't be coming after Dave Chappelle. And probably next week there'll be another brother that they're trying to reel in. And in reality, when you look at the statistics of the people who harm this particular community, it ain't black folks. The same way that other group got a hate crime bill written for them last year, when you look at their statistics of who harms them, it ain't black folks either. Black folks are consistently made the face of, the criminal in groups that we don't even think about. Let me say this as well, and I guarantee you everybody in here knows what I'm talking about. Black folks, we do not sit at our dinner table. We do not have our grandparents, our parents, our aunties, and our uncles that grow up and tell us to hate these damn groups. 9 times out of 10, we don't even think about these groups. And they paint this narrative that we all at the fucking dinner table sitting here saying, y'all knows to stay away from that group right there. Don't go hang out with them. Don't bring them home to our house now. Y'all stay clear of them. It's bad, folks. The only time we get told to stay clear of motherfuckers is because they anti-black. That's the only time. So this little notion that they're trying to put on us and the jacket they're trying to get us to wear, that we're these hateful folks who literally sit at our dinner table at 3 fucking years old and our parents are teaching hate to us, to hate the earth. That's a lie. That's what they do to us. That's what they do to us, and they're trying to put it on to us. If you guys think about it, then you peel back the layers and you look behind the curtains, what you're starting to see is a lot of these, groups and these other folks, they're doing every single thing to us that, they claim. So basically, they hate us, they say we hate them. All right. They have anti-black racism. They say we have anti-them. They tell everybody to stay the fuck away from us. Don't come around us. Don't treat us fairly. Now they're saying that that's what we say. It's projection. They're projecting all of their nefarious reasons upon us, and you can see it play out. And I'll say this as well. Name me anybody else who's apologized. Name me. Everybody who's apologized in the last 4 or 5 years has been a fucking black person. You can go back. What's our sister's name? Kyrie Richardson. You see how they tie her to the whipping post. They did the same thing to Bill Cosby. They did it to the baby. The baby lost millions of dollars, okay, over some shit that really wasn't even that big of a deal. It wasn't that big of a deal. And what they do, they came after that brother and they took his whole fucking career away. That guy's really never recovered. He's having shows right now where he can't even sell the motherfucking thing out. And they're going to say it's because of this, that, and the other thing. Don't tell me it's because he makes bad rap music, because half of rap is fucking trash. It's because he's been blackballed. It's the same thing they did with our brother Bill Cosby. They do the same thing. Now, when yet you start looking at these Karens running around here, Sarah Silverman, whatever the fuck, running around here with blackface on. I just seen her on 12 fucking commercials today. They don't never name me the last time you seen a Karen on TV apologizing, or that Noonie Martinez out there in California that's literally making real political decisions and saying racial slurs to black children. Did she ever apologize? As a matter of fact, she didn't apologize. She said, fuck your apology. She said, I ain't apologizing for shit. I ain't stepping down for shit. Y'all just gonna have to deal with it. She was swinging her coochie nuts all in the goddamn camera, and ain't nobody say a motherfucking thing. So none of these other people ever have to apologize, but they're quick to take away our careers, take away our endeavors, take away our right to make a fucking living. That goes back to Muhammad Ali. In the 1960s, they took away his right to make a living. They did the same thing to our sister, Kyrie Richardson. They wouldn't allow her to go to the Olympics. And when they didn't allow her to go to the Olympics, it was over weed. When that damn white lady soccer player, she was not only fucking smoking weed, she was telling them she was smoking weed, and she was selling the shit at a dispensary. And ain't nobody say nothing. They allowed her to go. So you see the same type of thing. This is why we have to take this very, very serious. And we can't sit back idle and watch our folks be castrated, be publicly humiliated, and apologize. So we have to stop all of that from occurring, because trust me, if they can bring down one black person unjustly, they can bring us all down unjustly. So therefore, we all have to stand up to that shit, because it may start today with Kanye West, whatever. It may go to Kyrie Irving, whatever. It may go to fucking Dave Chappelle. Eventually, that shit's going to start going to other folks and then other folks, and we're going to be in the same fucking place. You feel me, family?
I absolutely do. And that's exactly why I'm saying they're being attacked, being used as a proxy for all black men. And when I say all black men, we also are meaning all black people. So that is the entire community itself. Now, what's happening with us? We just had the rally for reparations week before last. So they are seeing that black folks are putting and asserting our issues out in the mix. So what has to happen now? Because now you've seen two groups that are used to bullying everybody into submission have to take a back seat to Black issues. The first group, they attacked Dave Chappelle, did not get the response that they wanted. Now they try to attack Kyrie. They are not getting the response that they wanted. So what are you doing? Because right now it's time to go back after Dave Chappelle again, because let's keep it a buck. The people that are attached to the first thing with Netflix and Dave Chappelle are still the same people that are with this situation with Kyrie. So, I just want y'all to know, if you just certain people got attachments, and you just got to deal with what you're dealing with. Again, we are behind enemy lines, so we can deal with the theys, because and I will have to say, if anybody did not understand what Dave Chappelle said about the rules of show business, that is absolutely correct, because it is a rule of show business. That is not PC or anything. This is they thing. So you just got to understand how you're playing when you're over there with them, but also understand who you doing business with as well. So with that being said, let's go to Lenigris and then Val. So you can go to unmute yourself, Lenigris.
Hi, Beatzilla. Hi, Black Alpha. Hi, everybody in the room. Hey, Black Alpha, I agree with you 110% about this media lynching. Once it starts, it snowballs, the shit rolls downhill, shit splatters, shit stains. And it's not just when we say black man, it's the collective black community. Black men, women, and children. What was that out there in New Jersey where that no good reprobate called the cops on a 9-year-old baby? She's out there doing a science project, minding her own business. And he couldn't stand to see a smart black child with a prosperous family living in close proximity to him. So he had to go call the police to have her physically removed. And now this is what's going on. What was it? That Latino Karen, that Karina down there in Charlotte, North Carolina. I know that area in Charlotte, and I know who that Latina so-and-so is. I know that neighborhood because my folks live in that neighborhood in Charlotte, North Carolina. So there's going to be some serious ramification with not only Wells Fargo, but with the banking industry, where they allow these Karens and these Carinas, white passing Latinos, to instigate this stuff, to call the police, to have us exterminated. And oh yeah, that Nuri Martinez chick that doubled down on her racist stuff. Los Angeles does have a Jewish mayor. Yeah, Eric Garcetti on his mama, literally, is Jewish. Okay? Yes! Yes! Yeah, Garcetti on his mama's side of the family is Jewish. But do you hear anybody from Los Angeles and the very large Jewish community in Los Angeles doubling down against the rhetoric of those anti-black haters? All of them. I'll land my jumbo jet.
Ooh-wee. Thank you, Lenigris, as always. And man, ooh-wee. See, peep out the hypocrisy when folks go silent. When folks go silent, we got to do this, we got to say this, we got to. Hate is never a good thing, and hate is never a good thing. But this little kid's a monkey. Yeah, man, come on. We don't really know if she's really racist. I mean, come on. I mean, did you want to chime in on that, brother?
Absolutely, family. Absolutely. And sister was so right about that little girl they just called the police on. You see how it starts. We see how it starts. They start reeling in everybody. And something that we got to connect to all of this is the hate crime law. A hate crime law follows after all of this. They start to slander black folks. Malcolm X, he spoke about it in the 1960s. They view our community as a criminal enterprise. That's what they view us as. They view us as some type of fucking criminal enterprise. And through this media lynching, which is the best term to phrase it as our sister just did, this is exactly what they end up doing. And then they start hitting you with this propaganda here, there, left and right. And then the next thing you know, they're sitting there justifying it. The same motherfuckers who's on TV right now calling Kyrie Irving an idiot are going to be the same motherfuckers on TV talking about how we need a hate crime law because there's so much crime in the community. It's the same exact thing. It's the same exact play, and you're going to watch it all. Shaq, Charles Barkley, Shannon Sharp, they're going to be the same ones facilitating all of this shit. That's why we got to watch these folks very, very closely. Very, very closely, because what affects one of us affects us all. And anytime you can do a media lynching, next thing you know, you can do a public lynching. And that's what happens, and that's what follows through. You feel me, family?
I absolutely do. We have to be mindful and cautious of that because these people love using words. They use words to sway things. So let's always keep, like, I'm watching my news here, even my local news. Man, just peep the words that folks use, family, because what they are really starting to do is they'll put a word in front of something. So instead of allowing you to decipher all on your own what something is or not, they are using words, and then so basically a setup, so you'll then all of a sudden start thinking a certain way about something. So just stay mindful of that. Sister Val, you can unmute yourself, and then we'll go to She Means Business. Go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, I just kind of want to build on what you guys were just saying. And I guess I decided to put it in a question because I think we need to figure out, okay, we got all these examples in front of us. Like Kanye, we got Kyrie. And Kanye especially, because first thing we get mad about something he did, he wore that white Lives Matter t-shirt, and then what he said about George Floyd. So we're already mad at him. And then when it starts piling on, then we're like, wait a minute. But it's like we need to learn to sit back before, we start throwing the rocks first. Does that make sense?
Oh, yes, it absolutely does.
And
Go ahead.
mm-hmm. Well, I guess, because what most people are saying, like, they don't like what Kanye did. So then when he comes out and they find out he loses his money, first thing you hear is, ha, 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 that's what he get, But then then here comes Kyrie, now we got Dave Chappelle. And now we're saying, oh, y'all doing too much now. But it was already too much. They could have gotten a apology from Kanye. You don't start snatching his money out of the bank, stuff like that. That was too much right there.
Well, but the one thing I gotta say, because you gotta make a clear separation of Kyrie's situation and Kanye. See,
I get that. Yes,
Kanye went out. Yeah. Kanye went out not just tweeting, but he went on public forums talking about these people. Like Kyrie didn't even touch it. All he did was just post something, and actually, that wasn't even a slight against them. That was just something positive for the black family. So it's drastically different. And and Kyrie wasn't hanging around Candace Owens. But I ain't saying that's any excuse to throw the brother under the bus. And there were people like even Tariq Nasheed that tried to come out to kind of tell the brother to put that message out there in the wind. You might want to back off of going down this road. So he wasn't heeding no advice. Then on top of that, you have the minister come out for him, even still speaking for him, and then he slaps the minister's hand away. At some point, that brother has to be responsible for just shutting up.
I guess what I'm saying is that, okay, Kanye said what he said, and then they did what they did to Kanye. So now Kyrie doesn't even do a fraction of what Kanye did, but they're doing just as much to him.
Yeah, and that's not based on how we reacted. That's based on what we're doing. See, for us claiming our own self, claiming our own identity, and also claiming the repair done to this country, that's where they're focused at. So this is a real niggas in moment because they don't want other celebrities jumping on the grassroots movement. So this is a
Okay.
warning. So this is a white supremacy thing. This ain't got nothing to do with us.
I get that. But then even with that, now you give their examples. You get you who are you name the lady in blackface, you name what's his name, Howard Stein, and the others that have done it and everything. They don't react like that. Does that make sense? I guess that's
Well,
where
yeah.
I'm at.
Oh well,
They
no, but
don't
that's
jump off the they don't jump off the porch because we're mad that somebody wore a black face.
no, okay. Let me explain it to you like this. They are in a very well-oiled machine that has been working very well for them and their community since they've been alive and before they got here. We are in the system that they take advantage of. So they already know how to preserve the order of their power. We are the powerless because we've been in the oppressed seat so long. So I get, that they are on code. We're not on code because we've been decimated, and that's kind of where we are now. We're trying. This is what this process is right now. Is rebuilding ourselves to get on code. Can you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, and hopefully we'll see these examples and we'll learn how to get on code.
Yes,
You
indeed.
see, yeah,
Yes, indeed.
we just got to keep seeing it, and then we'll learn to um, maybe stand back before and see what how mad, gauge the temperature on how mad we actually are, because
Mhm.
when we say, oh, Kanye's did that, gives them license to do what they want. That
No,
makes
no, no,
sense.
no,
No,
no. It
I
does not
mean,
make sense.
maybe
No,
I'm
no,
not
no, no,
saying
no.
it.
No,
Maybe I'm not
listen. Let
saying
me
it
let me
right.
let me explain something.
When we
White,
don't react.
because well, no. Because see, that's the media. We have no ownership of that. That's they shit.
Okay.
So
Yeah, you're right.
whatever message they want to put out against the black man is all
Exactly.
on
Okay.
them. There is nothing that a black person can do. You could go out
Right.
there. I mean, prime example. We're hollering reparations. Is there anybody out there talking about that?
Yeah, I guess
So
I'm just
don't put that on black folks. That's white
no, I'm
supremacy
not.
all
I'm
the
not.
way.
I'm just troubleshooting. I'm trying to figure out what we can do. I'm not putting anything on us. That's not my.
Well, no, we just stay
Yeah.
focused on what we're doing. But understand one of the biggest things that we could do
Yeah.
is hold the understanding that there's never going to, because that's something we often do too much. We put onus on ourselves for the actions of white supremacy. And
Right.
that's something we absolutely have to cut out of our psyche. There ain't nothing that we can do that's going to change these devils' minds that have had us under this situation for over 500 years. There ain't
Mm-hmm.
nothing that black people gonna be able to tell nobody like that. That's like
Mm.
telling a lion not to be a lion because hey, I think it. No, that
Right.
won't go. That's what I'm saying. Don't
Mhm.
put that on us on blacks. That's that.
No, I'm not. I'm just. I guess I,
You still are. No,
want to see the change in.
I hear you. Got it. No,
Huh?
I hear you. Let me go ahead and get to the next hand. Um, Shane's
Okay.
business. You can unmute yourself. Go ahead, sis.
Hey everybody, thank you for the this wonderful space. Y'all always have great spaces that I enjoy. I just want to add on to a couple of things that you mentioned earlier. So one thing that is definitely happening for sure is these narratives that they are pushing. Even on some of these posts on Twitter, you can see, they're trying to make it seem like, oh, Jewish people have caused a divide between white people and black people and pitted us against each other, as if Jewish people are the only ones that have been racist and harmful to us. And that's just first of all, we haven't done anything to white people. So that's the number one thing that we have to make sure we keep correcting and not allowing this narrative to float out there, like you were talking about earlier, as if we were sat down in our homes and taught to hate people. We have not done anything to these people. They have done everything to us. And it's also a trick because what's happening right now is different factions of white supremacy are fighting each other for who's going to take control of the reins. And so they're willing to throw certain factions under the bus, but they're all still part of the white supremacist system, and they all maintain it together and uphold it together. So we have to be very clear that we cannot fall for these tricks when they try to just put it all on one part of one community in white supremacy, as if and because they're trying to like rewrite history at the same time and make it seem like, oh, it's just these people over here, the rest of us, we weren't doing anything evil or bad, and then trying to equate us at the same time as having done the same type of things to other people, which is just a complete lie. So we have to be very on point with understanding those tactics and those tricks that they're throwing out there to to paint a picture that is not reality, and also to get us confused. And what I would say about the whole Kanye thing, I think the way the Kanye thing played out is perfect, because these celebrities, these Black celebrities, need to learn that you're not going to stab us in the back and betray us regularly and then think that we're going to be your arm of support when you get. They need to learn that there's consequences for selling out your community. If you are a solid person that rocks with the grassroots, you don't betray your Black community and your people, then we will absolutely ride for you. We don't have a problem doing that. But we have to set a precedent where these celebrities understand that you're going to have to pick a side. You're not going to be able to publicly, betray us and stab us in the back and think that you're going to come along and be kumbaya with us when you need us, and then toss us back to the side when you want to get back in good graces. Like, absolutely not. What we are doing right now, the way we're handling things, the way we came together with this Kyrie situation is great. And honestly, I wish that the NBA players would see this as an opportunity for them to gain power themselves, because the reality is we have to be thinking about the next generations. And right now is a perfect time for us to take back control of our sports leagues, the things that we make everyone else money, and create our own things, because we actually have the power to do that. They're not backing down and all of a sudden, oh yeah, Kyrie's not really, anti-Semitic. We just, blah. They're not backing down because they really actually, feel bad. They're backing down because when we said we're going to boycott the NBA, that means they know they're going to lose money. Same thing with Nike. They're going to lose money. The only reason why they came with Kaepernick and sided with him and the whole NFL thing is because they was going to lose money, because we made Nike what it was. Ain't nobody else on this planet made Nike pop off but foundational Black Americans. Point blank, period. And the NFL to this day doesn't want to admit how much viewership they lost when we started boycotting their asses. That's why they tried to slide Jay-Z up in there real quick. We're moving past kneeling and actionable items, and I'm just going to be in charge of the halftime show, to wheel us back in. So now is a great time for these celebrities to learn that we have power, and we can actually start transitioning and pulling away from these other people that are literally just leeching off of us and harming us at the same time, and create our own industry. So that's all I have to say.
Fire. Absolutely fire. Black Alpha, did you want to chime in on that, brother?
That was fire, and I agree 110%. That's exactly what it is. We got a lot of power. We got a lot of power. As long as it's concentrated, as long as it's laser focused, we can do any goddamn thing. And that's why they got to, reach these levels. The very fact that they got to lie to us and they got to deceive us and do all these little backhanded, undermine things, that lets you know that we're working with a lot of power. They're not worried about the tap dancers or the butter biscuit chasers or the coon walkers or the prepaid bucks. They ain't worried about them. They worry about the certifieds, because they know when we certified and we on game, things change. And the more things change, the more they stay the same, the more they stay the same, the more we stay on game. So therefore, right now, we have them, exactly what we want. The way we played this situation is perfectly like our sister was just saying. When Kanye went off, court, we said, okay, yeah, y'all may have went overboard on Kanye, but to Kanye yourself, bro, you on that island on your own. You're a victim of your own creation, because you're not going to be going off code, disrespecting the community, and then be the main one throwing up the flag saying, come on in. When Brother Farrakhan said what he said about Kanye, I didn't see it as a slight. But what I do see is Kanye West obviously is out of his mind. Kanye West is a loner. He's a weirdo, to keep it 100 with you. And he doesn't even know what help looks like. You know, I feel like it was a lot of our brothers and sisters, like our brother Tariq Nasheed was making a lot of points. He's like, yo, Kanye, knock that shit off. It's no different than anybody in your household. If you pull him to the side and be like, hey, bro, that ain't the right position you in. You need to get that shit corrected. That's tough love. And Kanye don't want tough love. So we say, hey, if you don't want it, you're on your own. Now, when it comes to Kyrie, we roll with Kyrie the way that he presented himself, and we didn't ride with Kanye how he presented himself. Kyrie was very humble. Like I said again, didn't even say nothing. Just literally like pressed a button, and then they came down on him, and we said, no, that's wrong. That's wrong. We can't stand by that. We can't let y'all do that to our brother. Right now, they're coming after Dave Chappelle. We stood by Dave Chappelle and said, bro, he didn't do nothing wrong. Kanye, on the other hand, you know, you did what you did, so you got to sit on that. You know what I'm saying? You made that bed, you got to lay in it. But that's okay, because we're going to continue to provide support to those who either A, want the support, or those who deserve the support. If you do not deserve support from the community, it's gone, because for too long, we allow people to go off code and then still come in to save them. Remind you, if you come to save somebody who went off code, then you ain't got no fucking code. You ain't got no code. You ain't enforcing nothing. You can't have somebody say, fuck the community, fuck the lineage, fuck the heritage. And then when they need you, they say, come on in. We say, well, we got to help him now. That is our brother. Fuck that. He ain't acting like a brother. If you're not acting like a brother, then I cannot treat you like a brother. That may not be sweet, but this ain't a game for sweetness. If you want some sweetness, you need to go sit your ass down. This is real. This is for the real riders out here. So Kanye, like you said, Brother Zilla, he was very reckless was what he said. But it wasn't just that. That motherfucker was very reckless on a lot of the little trolling shit that he was doing towards us. So he don't deserve the help. You feel me? Now, in terms of Kyrie Irving, you know, like I said, they've been trying to get this brother now for a year. They've been trying to get this brother on a lot of things. Trust me, there's going to be something else that they come after Kyrie. And then once they notice that we are providing that shield around our brother Kyrie Irving, then eventually, like we said, they're going to start to come after us. They already are coming after us, but it's going to be more concentrated, because if they can't get the individual, and the individual attacks don't work, and the individual slander doesn't work, and we start standing up for Kyrie, then they're going to say, well, we're going to have to do something about these black folks who providing that shield. And let me say this as well about Kyrie Irving. Let me say this right now. In terms of what they're doing, you know, to our brother, can y'all imagine what they'd be doing to Kyrie Irving if the Black Grassroots wasn't here? If we weren't here right now, can y'all imagine the type of hell they'd be putting that brother through? We are literally our only line of defense. We are literally, nobody else is riding for us. When we say we all we got, we all we fucking got. Trust me, if the Black Grassroots wasn't here right now, I can't even imagine what they'd be doing with Kyrie, because they would have a green light. It would be green lit like a motherfucker to do whatever. So we got to take pride in that. We got to take pride in being our only line of defense. We got to take pride in telling motherfuckers, you're not just going to slander our brothers or our sisters in any light. You're not going to, you know, come after our family. You're not going to come after any of us. We're going to hold each other down, because trust and believe, if we woke up tomorrow and the Black Grassroots was silenced, trust and believe everybody will be fair play. So we got to continue doing what we're doing. We got to continue to stay, you know, on code. We got to continue to protect each other. Protecting each other is what it is. Remember, they're not going to write us no goddamn laws to protect each other, so we got to protect each other. They're not going to, you know, come out here and provide no assistance to us, so we got to assist each other. Everything that we need is everything that we're going to have to provide for ourselves. But guess what? That ain't no news flash to anybody, because we've been doing that for 500 motherfucking years. It ain't nothing new under the sun. So let's continue to do what we do. Let's continue to stay on code. And therefore, by that, we will protect each other, and we'll get some real justice. If they ain't going to give us that justice, then we're going to take street justice. That's the point. You feel me, family?
Absolutely, brother. And, you know, the one thing, like you said about the whole Kanye, the difference in the Kanye thing is that he was taking shots at black folks. And so he's putting black people in a place of defense as a community, while going, you know, doing that whole run around with these people. What that brother actually clearly lacked was like big homies, that kind of G checking that needs to go on. Because when people are really trying to tell him something or trying to give him some kind of covering, he doesn't even know how to recognize that and say, oh, let me fall back. Instead, he's like, let me go head first without any kind of wisdom or direction to my movement, and go willy-nilly. It's like, brother, you have to understand. Okay, what Kanye did is almost bailed out Adidas. By doing that, oh, I can be anti-Semitic. Don't you know this company was made by Nazis? And they just recently had a whole big incident about their black employees. And thanks, brother. You just let them off the hook. I'm telling you, y'all got to, like, I totally understand. We want to not throw any of our people away. I totally get that. But we cannot afford to ignore the success of 1804 Haitian Revolution because they understood not everybody wants freedom. And it's going to take them hard choices and hard decisions to kind of, cut the fat, to speak, so to speak. With that being said, Lenigris, go ahead. You can unmute yourself.
Hi, just like the sister brought up earlier about the trick language or the trick bag that they're using, and how you had eloquently described how they're using words and taking the words out of context and not understanding clearly and fully the meaning. Okay, speaking of trick bag and trick words, I saw on a couple of websites and some podcasts where they had some Jewish people claiming that they could not be racist because they were not slave owners and they didn't have slaves. Okay, let me clear this up for you. All right, first of all, not all of the Jewish people who came to the United States were Ashkenazim, which are the Jews from Central Europe. And not all of them immigrated to the United States in the late 19th to early 20th centuries, fleeing pogroms. Okay, you had Sephardic Jews who came over and colonized North America, and they were property holding and slave owners. All right, another thing that they don't want to talk about either is that the Jewish people were in the slave game or the skin game, literally and figuratively. Who do you think outfitted the boats, bought the boats, had the insurance, used the slaves as collateral for insurance, who were the merchants, the accountants, and the brokers, and a lot of the leading brokerage firms in England in particular, coming out of Liverpool, Leeds, and also in Nantes in France and other places. Who do you think had all of that going on? See, this is the trick bag and what one other person said, erasure of history that nobody wants to know about. I'll land my helicopter.
Woo, if you can see the look on my face right now. Boy, oh boy, man, and this space is recorded. I would advise y'all just go right back and just listen to what Lenigris just said. And just go do a little bit of research or based on what you just hear right here in this space. Because I mean, yeah, I'm familiar with what you're talking about, Lenigris, and it's so interesting. Think about the layers of what she just put out there. Layers of a situation. The good ship Jesus, as far as I know, the first ship to come here to America was slaves. It wasn't primarily the slave ship because actually they were pushing dope and rum. But again, who owned that ship? I guess that's probably why they cut that part out of history and start talking about 1619.
Well, yeah, the main reason why is who does the Simon and Schuster. That's one of the big publishing houses. Okay, enough
Facts.
said. All right.
Facts.
Okay, but think of it this way: they don't want people to understand that there are different. I guess you call it sects of Judaism. They want everybody to believe all Jews are the same. No, they're not. Sephardic Jews do not support this whole idea behind white supremacy, and neither do the Misrahim. Misrahim are Jews that come from Tunisia and Morocco and parts of Algeria. They're not on board with this because they knew what the Ashkenazim did. Now, the Sephardim that were in England, they originally came from the Iberian Peninsula, okay, what we now know as Spain and Portugal. So the Spanish and the Portuguese were in the skin game, particularly because they were seafarers and merchants. So of course they're going to coordinate all of this. But see, the Ashkenazim who came to the United States, those were the black sheep. Those were the poor Jews who left because of serfdom and getting their asses kicked by the Russian Empire and the Ottoman Empire. Okay. And see, that's another part of the history nobody wants to talk about. And they're not going to talk about that either because they have to admit that they're poor white trash and their Sephardic wealthy people don't even recognize them, and neither do the Mizrahim, because they know you're full of shit, you're full of lies. And I'll land my helicopter.
As you were speaking, it just made me think of something. Ain't one of these CNN people a distant relative to old Adolf? One of those white-haired CNN anchors. Mother had a line of jeans back in the 80s. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. Maybe I'm just talking out the air. Black Alpha, you want to chime in on that, brother?
That's what we talk about, family, about miseducation and misrepresentation. Once they start selling you whatever they want to sell you on a public level, then it becomes, exactly what it is. That's why we're speaking out, all the time about, the new black media and just different voices. Different voices have to be heard, because when you don't have any type of counterintelligence, then you're going to believe what they've told you as intelligence. And we all know it's not intelligence, it's ignorance or goddamn lie. It's just a cold-blooded lie. Exactly what it is. And when you get a bunch of motherfuckers to believe the lie, then you get stuck in these type of situations and they can play you however they want to play you. 9 times out of 10, when a brother or sister is being made to apologize, they said what's true. And I'm not talking about true because it's their opinion or what they think or what it could be, sort of, maybe, if. No, it is statistically, factually, the truth, the evidence. They got receipts for it. They got a whole resume for it. And anytime a brother or sister gets brought on national TV to apologize, we already know what they said is real. Basically, they're not going along with the script. The script doesn't play anything. And now that we talk about that, and I want to, slightly pivot on this, the apology. All right, let's talk about the apology, family, because last time I checked, these brothers and sisters who want to go out there and apologize. First off, I'm from the era of you say something, stand on it. Stand on that shit. If you say something and you genuinely believe it, stand on it. Because if you can't stand on something you said, then you ain't got nothing. You ain't got nothing. You ain't looking at nobody real in the mirror. You feel me? You got to stand. You feel me? When you got to say something, man, believe that shit, own that shit, stand on it. This little thing where we got the prepared statement and we backtrack. Those of us, who are in our, I would say 30s and up. I'm still in my 30s. Anybody who's in their 30s and up, you understand. We from the era of you said what the fuck you felt. Okay, this little stuff now where you got to go out there and apologize. Nah, can y'all imagine Malcolm X living in this world? Can y'all imagine that? Would they ever get our brother Malcolm to apologize? Can you imagine Tupac Shakur in this era, this world where you got to apologize? It wouldn't work. That's why they had to get our brothers out the paint, because of this right here. So I would always say, anytime you apologize, you got to say it doesn't work. Look at Kyrie Irving. Kyrie Irving made an apology and they said that ain't good enough. That's really what it is, because it was never about an apology. It's about public humiliation. Kevin Hart, I don't even really rock Kevin Hart like that, to be honest with you. But Kevin Hart said some things, whatever, in a comedy special, and they made him re-apologize. The man had to re-apologize. Remember a couple years ago, I think, was it the Oscars they took away from him? He was going to host it. Am I wrong, brother?
Yep. It was the Oscars, I believe. Yeah.
This is Kevin Hart. This is like the most non-threatening Negro you could ever find. The guy's like 5'1.5". Okay, he tap danced Butter Biscuit all day, and they made his ass apologize. This is what we're talking about. He had apologized multiple times. A couple years ago, this didn't really make big news. They were trying to go back. The same exact thing. Okay, it's one thing to apologize for something you did at A and then apologize for B and C. They made this man apologize for A 3 different times. 3 different times. And then the man was like, and then they took shit away from him. Not only did he have to apologize, he apologized all those ways and still got punished for what he supposedly said. Eddie Murphy, a couple years ago, they tried to go back and get Eddie Murphy to apologize for, I think it was Raw. I think his comedy special Raw from the 80s. Might have been something else he did. They tried to get him to apologize. Family, you got the stories that make headline news about them trying to publicly slander black men and women. And then you got the ones that don't ever make, the mainstream. But trust me, every day is somebody out there. And I ask this to everybody out there. Name me the white person that's had to apologize. Name me the Latino who's had to apologize. Vince McMahon from the WWE, he had that whole situation going on. All he did was just send out a motherfucking tweet and said, all right, y'all, I'm out, bye, and just step down. No apology, no nothing, no slander, no news specials. Okay, no motherfucking getting his shit took away from him. None of that. No, matter of fact, the motherfucker was on TV 2 days before he sent that out. And the only reason Vince McMahon even stepped down because it was really about the stockholders. It wasn't about anybody punishing him or anything like that. He did that so he can have a smooth transition from his company. It wasn't any real type of punishment. Black folks are out here, literally, as we say, losing their means of making a living. Kyrie Irving is not supposed to be suspended this long, and he's still suspended. As a matter of fact, he was supposed to play last night. And they just said, no, he's not going to play. Fuck that. Nope. He still needs to apologize. Put him in his place. So it lets you know it ain't about no apology. If you say something, you mean it, tell the motherfuckers, I mean it. I mean it. Okay, whatever. Just take what come with it. Because here's the kicker. If you do apologize for something that you said, is that apology going to change your quote unquote punishment any? Have y'all ever seen an apology ever benefit a black person? Have you ever been facing one type of punishment or one type of reaction and then you apologize and that all went away? Apologies have never worked for black folks because it ain't about the apology. If a motherfucker really wants you to apologize, then one apology should be enough. Kyrie Irving came out and apologized, and they just said, nope, it ain't enough. Nope, we want you to. Matter of fact, they put a list together and told the brother, you got to meet this, and this. So what's he supposed to do? Apologize 6 times? You feel me, family? This is what we talking about. They don't want no motherfucking apology. Anytime you believe that they want an apology, you're giving your oppressor some type of favor and benefit that he don't have. That's a lie. That's a fraud. He don't want your fucking apology. He wants your ass tied to the goddamn whipping post so he can whip you on national fucking television and public affairs so the whole world can see this big ass black man broke down. And they'll do the same thing to our sisters out here. This is exactly what we speak about. They don't want, because they understand when you start dealing with the brother and sister today, you can't just tie us to the goddamn whipping post and just whip us. That ain't gonna work. But what they can do is they can take your money away. They can take your influence away. They can take your platforms away. They can take your endeavors, your means to make a living. They can take all that away. That is the nowadays buck breaker. So as I say, back in the old days, they used to tie you to the whipping post. Nowadays, they tie the whipping post to you. Send it back to you, bro.
That is so true, brother. You said they put the whipping post to you. Man, that is what we are seeing. And just like the sister had mentioned before, I want you to understand what the problem is. The problem is when you start really looking at the situation, which they knew the conversation of reparations is going to naturally get down to the brass tacks, nitty gritties, and who is the satellite people that also benefited from this, that owe us as well. You understand? So like Brother Jason Black always says he believes in reparations across the board, and I am in full agreement with that, because that's exactly what we need, because we need to look at everybody who benefits off of it. And shout out to Jason Black for doing a brilliant breakdown of even how us black content creators are basically always fighting an uphill battle just trying to get our voices heard, while you have all of these Joe nobodies that they're literally pushing. And so we dealing with anti-blackness on every level. So as our voices get more collectively unified, especially in reparations, justice, we start looking at these insurance companies, because there is no black person in America that should not have health insurance paid by the government and also life insurance paid by the government. Right there takes part of half of your crime bill, because ain't nobody going to be wanting to pay them claims out. So right there, this is a system of recompense. That's what reparations is, a system of recompense. So, you can never make anybody whole, but you damn sure can do your duty to make it better. So with that being said, Crew Railty. Go ahead, Ray. You got it, brother.
Hey, what's up, B-Zilla? I just wanted to follow up with what Black Alpha said, right? Like they make us apologize, right? Like I know where they make us apologize, because you see how many of us get convicted of crimes that we didn't commit. And then to get on probation, we have to confess and say, well, I won't do it again, but I never did it in the first place. You know what I mean? Black folks is the least likely to commit violent crimes. It's just murder, whatever. And that's just because of white supremacy. Okay. And then also I want to get to like what you said, if they pay us our reparations, right? When they pay us our reparations, crime gonna go down, because doesn't most crime come from poverty? So if you got the money, Black Alpha got the money, our kids got the money, Val people, really all of them got the money, guess what? Ain't nobody nephews out doing no trap shit or nothing, because they can sit in the crib and play their damn video games and learn shit and chill. But I'll land my jumbo jet there. Shout out to Val.
Ooh, bro. I mean, for real, what we mad at? Like, you really sitting in comfort, chilling, brother? What are we mad at? You feel me, brother?
Hey, hey, exactly. Hey, I gotta piggyback on what our brother just said too, because that is another means of attacking. Mind you, when we say black man, we mean black man, black woman, black family, all of us together, because we stand together. You know what I'm saying? Hands down, period. And anybody who doesn't stand next to the brother, sister, king, queen, goddess, and God, then fuck them. We all stand together. But I like what our brother just said, because that's exactly right. In terms of the criminal system, they'll, get a brother or sister and they'll put fake charges on them, trumped up charges on them, and then they'll have to make you plea out. And the reason why brothers and sisters do end up pleading out is because they understand they're going to go in front of a court that is automatically rigged against them, period. There's no hope that you're going to go in front of that juror or you're going to go in front of that judge, because both of them are going to be anti-black. So basically, you're looking at a situation. This is happening all across the country, where you have a brother who did not commit a crime at all. No crime at all. He was innocent. He was walking down the goddamn street and the damn store got robbed on the other side of town.
Hey, Black Alpha, there, it's happened. I'll tell you about it later, but I'm telling you it happens. But I'm just talking about the little petty crimes, though.
No, you're right, family. Absolutely. I'm going to piggyback off that. You know what I'm saying? But, it goes on from the petty crimes to the big crimes, the false accusations upon us, in every aspect of, criminality, like everything. And here's the kicker. Black folks, like we say, are always innocent. You can look at the statistics and see that we commit the least amount of crimes all across the board, but yet we get charged more for crimes we didn't do. And then even when somebody else from another community is charged with the same exact crime, they get lesser sentences. So it shows you a brother and sister like, yo, I didn't do nothing. You're going to basically make me, they're going to come to you and they're going to say, hey, you got 10 years right now if you take this plea deal. Or you can go in front of that judge and then you can walk away. Well, brother, sister's thinking, okay, well, I can take this plea deal right now and do 10 for some shit I didn't do, or I can go in front of that judge. And if I lose,
I'm sorry, that judge or that white jury.
That
and
white jury
chances, roll the dice.
And roll that goddamn dice, and that's playing with fire. And mind you, that same white jury is the same motherfuckers out here at these rallies throwing up them Black Lives Matter signs. And then they'll throw that damn Black Lives Matter sign and say they stand with you all goddamn day, and they'll get in front of that goddamn jury, and they won't even give a fuck. They say, boom, 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 20 years in jail. You feel me? This is how they play, brothers and sisters. It's a well-oiled machine, a well-oiled system, and they get brothers and sisters right now as we speak. There's a brother and sister right now being falsely accused and getting their life thrown away over some bullshit, over some straight up bullshit. And people got to really understand that and literally learn the actual system and stuff. I was around a bunch of people who were, in the criminal justice system, some of my family members, and they would sit me down at a young age and tell me the way this shit worked and the way it operated. But that all goes back to this. So we cannot, not connect these dots. You got to connect the dots about how they smear us, publicly, and everybody. As the sister was saying earlier, it starts off with some celebrities and then that shit will work itself down. If anybody who's old enough to remember, mind you, I was a little boy in elementary school, but when they wrote the crime bill back in the 90s, a lot of that shit was because of fucking rap music. They used rap music as a catalyst to do that. Zilla, you know what I'm talking about. You remember Dolores Tucker when they was running around there throwing CDs in the street and stepping on fucking.
Yes, sir.
They used gangster rap. Gangster rap was the main thing they did to go ahead and make that crime bill happen. And so you got to be so this is why I was telling everybody, whenever a rapper gets killed nowadays, knock off all that we need to do better shit. Knock that shit off, because a rapper gonna get killed and we're gonna say we need to do better, and you're gonna apply one rapper to the whole fucking community, and then first thing they're gonna come around and say, man, y'all know who go on the rap music now, that crime bill, come on, sign it, and then they're gonna play that shit on to us. So we got to be very cautious about that. We need to do better, because everything affects everything. You run around here and you see a rapper get shot, and the next thing you know, talk about we need to do better, and then here comes the goddamn Joe Bidens of the world, here come the Al Sharptons of the world, the preachers, the pastors, the deacons, the reverends, and they're gonna start pointing at them rappers. That's what they did in 1994. In 1994, they was trying to ban hip hop music, and it's not a fucking coincidence that in the same 1994 that where they was trying to ban hip hop music, and they was having these 20-hour specials on ABC, NBC, CBS about how evil rap music was and it affects the brains of little black kids. They was doing all that shit, and right in the back door they was writing the 1994 crime bill. They're going to use the same exact means how they try to cancel our brother Kanye West. How they, and I say brother, he's all lost out there, but I'll say that, you know what I'm saying, we understand he did what the fuck he did and he was off code or whatnot, but at the end of the day, where his off coldness stopped and where he's on his own, that's that. But same thing they did with our brother Kyrie Irving, Dave Chappelle, they're going to use all of that as a catalyst to end up punishing black folks in every single arena. It does not stop. Do not ever put anything past them. These motherfuckers who run around and say, man, they can't do that to us now. Please try them. They'll do any goddamn thing they can. Anything that's at their disposal, they will. So we got to be very cautious about canceling and all these things that they do to our brothers and sisters out here, because they're not, trust me, they're not out here just trying to get at Kyrie Irving. They have a big system at play. Tariq Nasheed, Jason Black, they always speak about these motherfuckers are seeing 50 or 100 years in advance. Okay, they're not just seeing down the street at this stop sign right here. They're seeing it way down. They're sitting there thinking, how can I start off canceling this celebrity? How can I start off canceling this hip hop song? And how can I somehow turn that into legislation that puts black folks behind bars? Everything they do from an individual aspect is meant as a catalyst to punish us all collectively. Okay, understand that everything they do on an individual aspect is meant to punish us all collectively. So if you see one rapper, you see one entertainer, basketball player, football player, whatever, boxer, whatever they do to them, they're thinking about how can they take that and punish us all for it. We are the only people on the planet Earth where a fucking celebrity does some type of crime or does something wrong, or they say they did something wrong, and somehow your average black person walking down these streets do it. If anybody doesn't believe me, look at Chicago. They'll take one person in Chicago who may have shot another black person, and somehow they'll apply that to your grandma. Your grandma may be in fucking...
But Black Alpha, sorry, they didn't apply that to the cop.
Say it again. Run it back, brother.
I said they didn't apply that to the cop that shot Laquan McDonald out here.
Oh yeah, they'll never apply the wrong. Jeffrey Dahmer. They didn't apply Jeffrey Dahmer to all the dominant society. The Latinos don't apply El Chapo or the cartels to their whole society. Only with us. They'll take one person, the lowest denominator, and apply that all to us as a collective. They'll never do that to them, because you know what? If we sat here and we pointed out one person in their community that's committed a crime, we could apply that shit to their whole community, because guess what? Their crimes, as you go up economically, stay the same. Us, when you go up economically, our crimes drop. To your point, brother, when you look at us, we have economic-based crimes. So when you take a brother who's in the hood and he may participate in some wrongdoing in the hood, as he goes up the economic ladder based upon job opportunities, his crimes go all the way down. So when we go up, the crimes go down. For them, when they go up, shit, the crime is still the same. So they'll never apply it to the police officers. They'll never apply it to the race soldiers. They'll never apply it to the cartels, the drug dealers, or the thieves. But when it comes to us, whatever somebody does in the hood or in the ghetto, or one false accusation.
Hold on. I'll give you one more though.
No, go ahead, brother. No, you good. Hey, family, you with family, brother. Chop it up, family.
Listen, I ain't been on in a minute, so I don't want to be interrupted and whatnot.
Go ahead, family.
But like they'll do that out here in the burbs. I told you I'm from the burbs. I live down the street from R. Kelly, where he had his mansion and shit. Like, listen, they'll still put this shit on you out here, knowing everything good, knowing you in a damn $500,000 house and everything. You can't even walk down the street. Let me see your ID.
Oh yeah,
you hear me?
Oh, yeah.
White boy,
they looking like you're not supposed to be there.
Put me on smoking weed out here. I ain't never did nothing except for the white boys out here. But guess who gets arrested? Guess who gets harassed? You get me?
Think about it, brother. How many times, and this go for everybody right here in the room, how many times have y'all seen a black person living in a nice area and the police or the security guard stop them and think that they broke into their own home? See it all the time.
Nigga, they do that to me at my house. I've been out here 40 years.
Yeah, hey, shit, they do it to me too, brother. They do it to me too, because you ain't supposed to be there. A black person ain't supposed to be there based upon, like we say, the media lynches and all that. You ain't supposed to be there. I seen Floyd Mayweather. Floyd Mayweather got into it with his security guard in his place, and they said, why are you here? You ain't supposed to be here. The motherfucker's Floyd Mayweather. He's one of the most recognizable people in the world. They was like, what you doing here? I seen the same thing happen to T.I. I seen the same thing happen to, was it Denzel Washington? Same exact play, man. Same exact play. It all affects everything.
Do you think it's actually stupid cops that they're just dumb, or are they really racist? Because, I mean, even the real racists, they smart enough to not fuck with the niggas that's on this shit.
No, hey, you know what it is, brother? I'm going to tell you exactly what it is. For some of them, it's motherfuckers don't know who these people are, and they just racist, and they think you ain't supposed to be there. And then for the other ones, they know exactly who you are. They just trying to get you. straight up and down. Matter of fact, my brother flew from Kansas City to Savannah, Georgia, and my brother's touching good money, and he was on a first class flight, and they harassed him the whole way because they thought he was a rapper. Like they were like, "What you supposed to do? You know, what are you doing here?" They thought my brother was a rapper. As a matter of fact, anybody out there knows the song J. Cole, "Neighbors Think I'm Selling Dope." Go watch when he broke that shit down. Anybody check that out? J. Cole was probably making more money than everybody in the fucking neighborhood, and they called the police on him, and they raided his home based upon they thought he was selling dope, and really he was just a rapper who was bringing in studio equipment. Same thing, same place. So whether it's J. Cole, rapper, it's my brother flying first class, it's your brother, your sister, your aunt, your uncle, it's the same exact meaning. So when they start canceling folks and they start putting false accusations on brothers and sisters, I don't give a damn if you work at Walmart or if you're in the NBA, it affects us all because they use that as a catalyst to harm black men, women, and children. I'm gonna send it to you.
All right, hey, I'm sorry, Alpha. I'm sorry to cut you off, B-Zilla. So Alpha, you know how they say don't vote, right? Well, they say we're saying don't vote, right? We're not saying don't vote. Your last example is the perfect example of why you vote locally. Because whoever was that judge that signed that warrant needs to get up out of there. Whoever signed that judge on whatever warrant, raided whoever for no reason, they need to get up out of there. But all right, I'll land.
No,
I agree 100%, family.
Yeah, that's real talk. No, that's we stress, voting strategically. So a lot of people take that. No, you guys that are non-voting, and no. We're stressing voting for something. So if you're getting something, especially on a local level, that is going to make a difference, like a judge that done tow your household and tow your community up, and you can get his ass out. Yeah, absolutely. Get up on them ballots and get them in. So it again, that's just dealing with the strategy of politics. Because we see a lot of people. What was crazy to me, especially with this last election, is watching all these people who don't involve themselves with politics at all. All of them are so happy that they got a little sticker that said "I voted." It's just insane to me, family. It is absolutely insane to me.
Hey,
Calvin, you can go ahead, brother.
yeah, like I just came in and kind of in the middle of what y'all was talking about. What made me turn it on, I was sitting here watching that Hebrews to Negroes, but listening to the brother said he lived in the south suburbs, and when the guy with the fist mentioned the crime in Chicago, I just want to say that both of you brothers are right dealing with the crime here. I live in the south suburbs as well, and he ain't lying. We do get treated the same way that they treat us from coming out of the city. I work with a outreach organization. Well, actually, I run it in the city, and I do most of my focus is helping the brothers in Lawndale on the west side, Inglewood, and Chicago line, and they throwing all this money at these street outreach organizations, saying that they want to help the crime. But as I'm getting deeper and deeper and up the ladder, I'm saying that they don't. They just poverty pimping us and saying that they want to help. But when actually I see that they're using our young brothers and sisters as pawns in their real estate races to put us in certain areas to let the crime go up. When they do crimes, police is not there being responsive. Yes, I'm in the 8th district, the most racist district in the city where I do my work, and they slow on responses. They're not trying to help the people, and they quick to accuse people of things. I've got pulled over plenty of times having on jogging suits, having my hood on, stuff like that. And once they see me and see the gray on my beard, and they let me go. But I asked them questions. Why'd you pull me over? Like, what's the problem? What's your angle? And they just let me go. But I know what it is. But I like this platform that you guys got. I just wanted to just address that and say that I like what you guys are doing.
Thank you, brother. I got a real quick question for you too. So with what you were seeing with your outreach, because we have a lot of that here, and a lot of things that's going on here locally. They got a lot of black folks, the poor, like the Section 8 areas, are grouped into. It's basically they're taking an old patch of apartments and turning it into a new ghetto. And so what you're doing is having a concentrated area of violence based off of poverty. So is that basically the same thing that's happening there?
Yes, it's the same thing, but what they're doing is, like I grew up in one of the housing projects, and it's gone.
Wow.
So they regentrified the area. So like, it's a good thing and a bad thing at the same time. Like I have nowhere to take my kids to show them my struggles and what I came through to make their lives easier, so they can appreciate what I done for them, so that they're growing up, and I teach them to earn everything that you get. But what they're doing is they putting us in these areas, like you saying, allow the crime to fester. Once that crime gets bad, that real estate goes down. They buy that area up and push us off somewhere else, and regentrify that area. I'm also seeing them doing that with the Latino community too. So in the areas like in Pilsen neighborhood, some of Little Village, now where Inglewood, some of Bronzeville, you got Harvey in the south suburbs, Chicago line, West line. A lot of these areas were heavily African American. Now you're seeing the Latinos come in too. So they're also doing it with them as well. But instead of
Mhm.
pushing them completely out of the city, they're allowing them to take over the areas that we had. And I had one of my white constituents, he told me, he admitted, he said they do that because they are the lesser of the two evils, and they're the more tolerant race for them to deal with, if any race is going to be next to them when they bringing in these areas for these well-off white folks.
So they kept it real with you. I mean, and I'm glad that you got to share that right here too, brother, because that is so. I'm watching it happen, like real time. I'm watching my city happen. You're seeing it. One more question, just got to ask for the people who are upset at Kyrie and Kanye and Chappelle. What could you say are the ownership of these contract businesses placing the projects?
Well, I would say like Chappelle said, those people we can't speak of. But
Right,
you
right.
know, when it's black, it's a gang. When it's Italian, like my buddy I grew up with, it's a mob. But when it's anybody else, don't speak of it.
And both of y'all are out there in Chicago, so that is them people that we can't speak of. I'm just curious.
It
Look, he in the city. He in the city. I'm in the burbs. I used to play tennis with them, like three of their daughters. And guess what? They all moved out the hood before I turned 12. Why before I turned 12?
no,
Because
like
what happened?
Mm.
me, I live in the south suburbs, but all the work that I do is in the city. Now I'm not far from the city. I'm like just south of the city. I refuse to move in. I'm not saying you doing that. My brother who live in the suburbs. Um,
Yeah, no. I just grew up out here. I've been out here
yeah.
forever.
So I'm not I moved to the suburbs because um there is where I'm at is 100% African American that got good jobs, live in a good area, places you can let your kids go outside. Plus, I didn't want to stay in the city because it's just too damn expensive. I'm not afraid of the city. I'm not nothing like, oh, I don't want to go there. It's too bad. It's pockets of areas that have that, and those pockets is where I do my work because I want to help those guys. We my team, we go out on the street, we risk our lives every day. Every day. We go to the trap houses, we go in the trap houses, we meet them. They even allow me at times to meet with them in their little hiding spots. So what you were saying with the like the mobsters and stuff like that, the thing that like I think you mentioned earlier, saying they do their crimes at a higher point of their economical status, which is true, because they vilify our people like the Larry Hoovers, Cheek Mali, Booney Black, and guys like that. But you got the Al Capones and Gottis and all that. They actually give fucking tours and movies and, oh, this is where they ate dinner and shit like that. And people, you actually can get a tour bus and tour that area. But Al Capone had one of the greatest massacres in the city, but yet they glorify him and vilify a guy like Larry Hoover, who I believe didn't kill anybody, just on the crimes.
Didn't kill nobody, and he always built schools and built home. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Breakfast for everybody for school. But like out here where I'm at, I'm on 211th. You know, Route 30. They got
Yeah,
Al Capone house on the street talking about he got a tunnel all the way to the city.
Yes, I've
And
actually.
they show that off. And like,
Yeah.
well, but you show that off, but then you vilify the rest of us that's in the Heights or around this area. You get me?
Oh yeah,
All us.
Heights got a bad name. For those who don't know, Chicago Heights got a bad name, but actually,
Well,
it's
that's where I'm at.
that bad. It's not bad like that. You know, I'll be out there. I hang out around there. Nothing what people say about here is it's really not like that. Yeah, we got our crime. It goes down, but it's not like that everywhere. Like I say, it's pockets. It's pockets of the stuff, and the people who work with me and orgs that's like mine, we do have people here actually trying to help, which don't get publicized, where the news people don't come out and show that we hold block parties, we hold events out in the neighborhood. We tell people that they got free mental health because a lot of them are dealing with trauma. And what bothers me the most is when I go to a block, I talk to the neighbors, and I ask them, do you have a block club? Do you guys come out and just barbecue in front of your house? And they say no, we're afraid to. So what I do is I take my team over there. I use my money and I host a block party for those people and allow them to come out and enjoy their properties. And I talk to them. And I talk to the young men and women who they claim are the troublemakers. Some of them are, but we talk to them. We offer them job resources. We offer them free medical, housing, shelter. You wouldn't believe the amount of these kids that are homeless that we help out, and my team, we take care of them. And I've been trying to get it publicized. I've been trying to get people to put a spotlight on it. But soon as one of them shoot 4 or 5 people, then they mass shooters. They want to convict them under terrorist act. But in the other neighborhoods, they actually have people that would delegate for them in the court system and say, oh, that's a kid that lost his way or whatever, and give them second chance. And I'm trying to get our people that same thing.
I can dig it, my brother. Thank you, brother. Black Alpha, did you have any questions for the brother?
Hey, I actually want to send a salute to our brother, man. I like what you just said, family. I appreciate hearing that. To everybody listening, that's what you call putting in the real work, ground, feet on the ground, loyal to the soil, grassroots, brother. You keep doing you, family. And if you got anything that you need, man, you make sure you DM me and hit me up, man, because I'll make sure I put that out as much as I can. I want to see my brothers and sisters throughout the whole 50 states practice the same way because, you can sit back and, you can speak on things, but our brothers actually in the trenches doing the hard work. Because I know what it's like, family, to go to the projects and go deal with the people that society says is outcasted or society says is less than, but you're out there really helping them out and being the voice of the voiceless, brother. So I salute you, brother Calvin.
I appreciate that. And like I love everybody that's on this post because all I see is black royalty on here. And I love these forums that you guys have. I'm not really active on social media, but I'm really gonna start getting active because I don't want to not be able to run into people like this on this platform. And we need everybody to do this everywhere, not just in Chicago, not just in the big cities, but even these small cities that they exploit us in, get us to come to these predominantly white cities or white states and bring us here just so we can increase the crime so that they can increase they social economical capital. So I appreciate you and I appreciate everybody on here and thank you.
I just want to commend that brother Calvin because I know he's out here in the communities and doing the stuff that he's on the air talking about. One of his ex-co-workers, we worked together for a long time. I respect that brother, and he speaks nothing but positive things, and people should really, try to emulate what he's trying to do in the community or just start something themselves or whatever, because that brother is definitely on point. That's all I want to say. Thank you.
One
Thank you,
more
brother.
thing, I'm gonna shut up.
No, go ahead, brother.
I didn't even know my brother David was on here. Now I work with that guy. Now anybody who done been through it, That man right there, he done been through it. I've seen this brother personally come up out the mud, and I've seen his struggles, and that's a good brother right there, and he's one that I stay connected to because I know that some people need to hear his story and what he done been through, and he's a product of what the youth is going through in Chicago, and those that need that help and that have come out. We need more brothers like him to be highlighted too.
All right, brother Calvin, I just gave you a follow. So yeah, man, just stay tapped in, man. Um, and again, shout out, salute to you, and even this brother David that came up even to speak on your behalf. That speaks a lot to what you have been doing out there and the impact you've had on the ground out there in your area. So shout out and salute to you, and man, everybody else that has been helping with your movement out there, man, because it sounds it's needed, because at the end of the day, don't nobody give a damn about us but us. So, shout out to this brother. This ain't some old preacher, coming out here. "Hey, y'all just need to be in the church now." So, shout out and salute to that, man, because that's what we need: relatability, and being able to see a brother being able to kind of change his situation. So that right there is a tangible example of going in the right direction, man. I salute to y'all. So real quick, uh, like I was saying earlier, something that was on my mind about that the RICO thing. Look at how they use a situation with R. Kelly and the RICO thing, because okay, people, you're not really going to be coming to bat for R. Kelly. It's like, okay, yeah. But the RICO thing, that's the part that was really bugging me. And it's like, ah, man, I ain't saying that the dude is innocent. I can't say that. But is a RICO, can't you get him on something that's not a RICO charge, though? Because it just seems the RICO charge, that's going to start playing into conspiracy. And that means you start looking at groups of people now based off of one dude. Yeah, this just looks kind of funny to me. And then fast forward to the rappers. Now we're using lyrics for RICO charges. Now here's the excuse. Oh, well, these RICO cases are still local state government RICO. So it's not like it's the feds or the family. Doesn't this okay, right now, between R. Kelly and these other two rap crews, that's 3 RICO cases on black folks. Is anybody paying attention to that? I mean, because I just can't help but notice we have that, but none of the January 6ers caught RICO charges. But rappers are getting them? So, I mean, we just got to be mindful when they start trying to put things out there like, oh, there's been an uptick in anti-Semitic violence and this and that. Man, don't let them put that on our jacket, because that's coming next, just like they did for the Asians. And it's all during when we are literally looking for something for ourselves. How the hell in the time of George Floyd do you get an Asian hate crime bill? I mean, think about that, family. In the time of the George Floyd protest, Asians are getting a hate crime bill. We are in a time to where we have to recognize our enemies. And, the system of white supremacy is chief enemy number 1. So anybody, I do mean anybody, if they look like you, they come from your own family. If the system of white supremacy is more important to them than the community, they are an enemy, at least as far as I'm concerned. Can you feel what I'm saying, brother?
Oh, I do, family. I do 100%. You can hear me well?
Oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right. I'm a one up it, family. I'm going to go even further than that. I'm going to say it like this. Not only has none of those people from January 6th caught RICOs, no white supremacist group ever has caught a RICO charge. So what I'm basically saying is that you could take one rapper off the top of my head, Young Thug, from right down the street from where I'm at right now in Atlanta, Georgia. Young Thug, okay, a gold rapper. This motherfucker ain't even platinum, all right? A gold rapper has caught more RICO charges than any white supremacist group in American history. And that's all the supremacist groups combined. This is what we're talking about right now. And then when we talk about how they make extensions and they start reaching, they start reeling in black folks and bending the rules and twisting the rules, I can take it even a step further. We talk about Bill Cosby. You know, when you go to Bill Cosby situation, they literally went back in a time machine. They broke all the rules about statute of limitations, all of them. I mean, shit that you know for a fact you cannot do. They did it any goddamn way. It's because, you know, what we call, you know, we talked about it before, brother. We call it the nigga laws. You feel me? The in-laws, and I don't mean your relatives. That's a different set of laws that are, you know, focused on black folks that nobody else has to abide by. If you go to the store right now and you take a piece of bread and then Bob takes a piece of bread, Bob is going to get a slap on the wrist. You might fuck around and face 5 to 10 years for the same fucking thing. And anybody doesn't believe me, go look at the crime statistics. The DOJ will show you. Anytime they talk about their disparities and shit and within the, you know, the community, that's exactly what they're referring to. They basically mean anti-black racism. Okay, disparity basically means anti-black racism. They'll talk around it. They'll put all the terms in front of it because they understand how to do a play on words and put this word where this word belongs, take this word out and put another one in. But we understand, fuck all the games, fuck all the jumping, the blockades, the hurdles, the obstacles. It's just anti-black racism. So they go back in time and they do that. Take Michael Jackson. We want to go there, we can go there. Michael Jackson is seen as some type of, you know what, based upon what the news put out there, but Michael Jackson was never convicted for it. Never. And as a matter of fact, the people that were put up against Michael Jackson, they even came out and admitted that it never happened. Now, did you see any news organization run any type of retractions for that? Now, anybody who's old enough to remember, and it wasn't that long ago, they had 24-hour news coverage. And they were basically saying Michael Jackson is guilty. They didn't even want to acknowledge the fact that he may not be. But the people, the children that they said, you know, Michael Jackson did that with, those people came out, they all grew up. You Google it right now. I ain't making this shit up. You Google it, YouTube, the cameras is rolling. They came out and said, no, that never happened. Our parents put it up, you know, put us up to it, and nobody came back and never give no type of retraction for it. You know what I'm saying? Tupac Shakur went to jail. They said for raping that woman. That's not why he went to jail. But the news said he was a rapist. Matter of fact, I don't know if people remember, just about 3 years ago, they were trying to bring that back into light. They harmed black folks from the cradle to beyond the grave. All right. We are the only people where they'll go back to our legends who have passed away, who aren't even here to defend themselves. How many documentaries do they make about Michael Jackson a year? Every year. There'll probably be another 2 or 3 that come out about Michael Jackson right now. They do the same thing with Tupac Shakur. They go back in time. They find people who are not here to defend themselves, and they will slander you when you're gone. A lot of folks don't even know, what's the guy named Jerry Lee Lewis? He just passed away, 2 weeks ago? Jerry Lee Lewis was in a relationship with his fucking niece. Am I right about that, brother?
Yes, sir.
Nobody said a motherfucking thing about that. He just went in silence. This is like 2 weeks ago. This ain't old. This ain't 4, 5 years ago. This wasn't back 10 years ago. That literally just happened. And then they didn't say nothing. As a matter of fact, if you look at any of the publications who wrote stories on Jerry Lee Lewis after his passing, they praised him like he was some type of great guy. They talked about how wonderful man he was, and he made this great fucking music, which was trash. But they talk about how great he was, and no one said anything. But yet you got people like Michael Jackson who have been proven to be innocent, Tupac Shakur who's proven to be innocent, and then they still run slander pieces on him. And then they go get a bunch of these prepaid bucks or these prepaid bed wenches to go around and participate in the slander of our brothers and sisters. Kobe Bryant had passed away. Everybody knows, situation with Kobe Bryant. And what happened? Gayle King and fucking Oprah were like literally within a few weeks slandering that man, bringing up things that had nothing to do with him. I was just reading about Kyrie Irving the other day, and they were talking about Kyrie Irving after he made anti-Semitic statements. You see how they phrased it? After he made them, with no suggestion that he didn't really even make them, with no suggestion that he was taken out of context, with no suggestion that that's not what he meant. They just put it in bold print. This is what it is. Because remember, whenever it comes to a black person, they make sure that it's very definitive when they're trying to paint you with a broad brush. Whenever it comes to the dominant society and any crimes that they present, they tell you, well, we don't know yet. You can see literally a black man, black woman being harmed on camera. And they'll say, well, that ain't really what happened. Now, what happened was they slipped on some ice and then they fell, and that made it look like they was choking them. And then the gun accidentally went off. That's what really happened. So you see, when it comes to us, everything is very flimsy. They don't understand. They can't get it. It's real blurry, real murky. But when it comes to blaming black men or women, then they get very definitive, very clear. So what we have to do is that we got to take anytime they present to us some type of bullshit or something that they can spin, flip, and turn, we got to make sure that is exactly what it is. It's solid. We know exactly what they're doing. We see exactly what they're going for. And AKA, in other terms, if you see bullshit, call it out, because if you do not call out the bullshit, they will continue to feed you bullshit. And if you look at it, they've been doing that for 400, 500 years.
Big facts. Big facts. Calvin, I seen you raise your hand, but you took it down. I'm not sure if you wanted to say something or was that an accident?
Yeah, I was just gonna ask some people mentioning that Jerry Lewis thing. I was gonna say, didn't he steal black music people too? Didn't they do that back in the day?
Big facts. Yes, sir, he did. I mean, truth be told, they like to pump up Jerry Lee Lewis as some big rock pioneer because he basically took Little Richard and Chuck Berry sound and meshed it together for himself, and then put some stank ass whack vocals on it, and then call it rock and roll. Which of course Chuck Berry is the father of rock and roll, but and shout out to him because he's still living. He just had a birthday last month, so. Our rock pioneer is still here. Their imposter just recently passed, and I guess nobody. Oh, not to mention Chuck Berry's still married to his wife, by the way. So yeah, shout out to that brother, and shout out to Black excellence as only we can do. I was just in a conversation with a old head the other day about Macon, Georgia artists, Little Richard and James Brown. You got two of the greatest to ever do it coming out of one little place. But that's foundational Black excellence for you. So with that being said, with this excellence, I want to hit on the Chappelle part. The Chappelle. Now they're attacking Chappelle because he did not do the prepaid bed bucking that they wanted him to do. And I mean, who does Chappelle owe anything to at this point? I mean, they already came at him. He still hasn't folded. And he's the only person willing to give back that much money to not dog out his own people. So we always, and yeah, I don't necessarily going to say we're going to fully ride with a celebrity, but we always got to stand with our brothers and sisters out here, especially against this wicked system that would even ask anybody to denounce like a Minister Farrakhan. What the hell I look like? Yeah, man, I'm going to get out here and I'm going to let you know that, Minister Farrakhan has never said anything anti-Semitic. They take what he has said and they spun it. And like when he talking about injuring, and these people, like these culture vultures, that'll be around our culture. I see a couple of them talking, your Vlads, all these dudes came out and talking about how anti-Semitic Farrakhan is. That man has never harmed anyone. Just like he said, he hasn't shed anybody's blood for any gain or and harmed innocent people. Look at Kyrie right now. Kyrie is being targeted and harmed. For what? Nothing. And now you're mad at Chappelle because he didn't turn around and attack the brother. Are we looking at Django Unchained? Or are we nothing but Mandingo fighters to these people? Because it so seems like that to me. You understand what I'm saying, brother? Like, they're over here really trying to, hey, man, you get out there. Like, if I do something, they're going to come to you and say, man, you got to get out there and go dog that brother in public now. You feel me?
Oh, absolutely. And if I don't, then I'm going to get the same type of treatment that they're giving Dave Chappelle. So that's what we talk about the prepaid buck, ain't it? You're the prepaid buck, which they put a down payment on your cooning. They put a down payment on your bucking. And if you do not oblige by that, then they're going to come after you. Had Dave Chappelle went out there and said all types of slanderous things about Kyrie Irving or whoever else, they would be loving him right now. They'd be talking about, oh, Dave Chappelle done made a comeback. He probably woke up this morning, have $30 fucking million deals on the table. But the very fact that he did not, now here comes, well, he didn't follow the rules. Remember, and I always say this on the Black Alpha Network, in the system of supremacy, every white person has a job title. They all have a job title. It's not always the same job title. Some person got to play good cop, bad cop. Some person got to be the deceiver. Some person got to come throw their arm around you. Some people got to come, you know, in the political world, the social world, so on and so forth. And this is what they were trying to do to our brother Dave Chappelle just last night. And like we said, brother, it started off with Kanye, then they reeled in Kyrie, and I knew it was going to happen. I said, they're going to reel Kyrie into this shit. And then that blew up. In a lot of ways, that damn near got almost as big as the Kanye situation. And then they, you know, reeled in Dave Chappelle. I mean, we're talking about a situation that started. When that first started with Kanye? Was this almost a month ago?
Yeah, that's about right.
About a month ago now. And just as of Saturday Night Live, as of Saturday, they reeled in another brother. And probably next week, they'll have another brother reeled in, because this is what they try to do. It all starts with one thing, and then it pivots, and it starts to have a chain reaction, and then bringing everybody in. But you're right, brother, to your point. They're going to always come to somebody and say, hey, say this about your brother, throw your brother under the bus, and here's your choices. Either you do it, and, you know, we'll have all types of butter biscuits for you and all type of trinkets for you, and you'll be good to go. And you have multi-million-dollar deals, television contracts. You can be the host or the co-host of this television show or whatever. Or if you don't do it, then we're going to slander you and reel your ass in. Our brother Corey Holcomb, I was watching his show the other day, and he was talking about how Shannon Sharp does the same exact thing. And one of the brothers on the show was like, well, why did he do it? And, you know, Corey told him, because if he didn't, his ass wouldn't be sitting in that seat. He'd be sitting out here next to us. That's what it is. They all understand they have a job to do, and it is to be a prepaid buck. Okay. That is what their job is. They have a contract. Shaquille O'Neal knows his big butter biscuit ass has to throw black men under the bus. As a matter of fact, if I'm not mistaken, Shaquille O'Neal and Charles Barkley threw Breonna Taylor under the bus. They did this. These are the same guys. I mean, it's not hard to figure out. We got to stop this thing where supremacy is this complex thing that it takes us 29 years to figure it out. No, the fuck it ain't. You know who the coons are. You know who the samples are. You know who's tap dancing. You know who's selling out. You know who's counterfeit. It does not take that much. It's so evidently clear. All you got to do is just see through the bullshit. Be honest. If you're honest, then you already got 99.9% of supremacy figured out. These guys are sellouts. You throw Breonna Taylor under the bus, then it comes Kyrie and whoever else down the line. Shaq don't talk about how the company that he works for, Papa John's, was racist as hell, and he slid right on in and saved the fucking day. Shaq don't talk about how he aired that movie. None of this gets spoken of because he's being protected, because he's a prepaid buck. That's a part of his negotiation. That's a part of his deal. If they go ahead and provide him the opportunity to hide all the things that he's done, then he goes out there and he throws Kyrie under the bus. This is what goes on. So any of these people that you see, particularly in the sports world, you understand everybody knows these guys are $100 million slaves. Don't ever expect anybody in the sports world to stand up. And if you ever do stand up in the sports world, you already know what's going to happen to you. You're going to be out the door. They're going to get you way the fuck off the paint. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what they got to do to you. It goes on outside of the sports world, but the sports world is the biggest goddamn plantation. I mean, the NFL combine literally looks like a slave auction. They out there with their shirts off, getting the goddamn fingernails measured and shit on some all types of moist ass shit. You feel me? And then the W's come in and sit there and exchange notes. He's 6 foot this and 6 foot that. And then let me ask everybody out there, everybody right now on the panel, let me ask this. Who have you seen on television crying more in the last 5 years than black men? And I'm not talking about little black men. I'm talking about big old 6'3" black men. Who have you seen crying more? I've seen more black men over 6 feet crying on TV than I seen Karens under 5 feet crying. What is wrong with this goddamn picture? Every fucking time this happens, I put together on my Black Alpha Cast, on my show on YouTube, I put together like a montage, a collage of black men crying. Do you know, Brother Zill, I'm not lying, family, I found 18 different pieces of a black man crying. I had to cut that shit down to 4 because I didn't want the show to be 3 hours long. Basically meaning I had so much evidence, I had so many clips of black men crying that I had to leave the shit on the editing room floor because that's how much these motherfuckers is crying on television. Every week they crying. Terry Crews, look at him. Terry Crews was the only black man in the white woman movement. Think about that shit. Big old 6 foot whatever motherfucker crying left and right. Every weekend. I just see y'all seen Jalen Rose out there apologizing. These guys are always apologizing and crying. They're guaranteed you're going to have death taxes and you're going to turn on your TV and see a big ass black man crying. This is what we talk about these bucks, these broken prepaid bucks. This is their job. They are to be out here and emasculate and look like little wimps so we cannot put out the warrior class. Because one thing that the dominant society never wants out there is a warrior class. When you look at everybody that we respect and people we follow, they're black men and women who exude power, okay, strength, pride, peace, pride, and deliver. This is what we're all about. They don't have that. So we got to focus on really putting out that energy. I'm not even going to get into some of them other rainbow agendas and all that, because trust and believe that's tied in. The same thing they're doing to Kyrie Irving, how they're trying to put him on the whipping post. You cannot separate that from some of these things they got in the hip hop industry, all the little Nas X's of the world. Trust and believe that is still a black man who, instead of having masculine energy out here, they're trying to put some type of weak, docile, passive energy on him because they want the kids to watch that. Everybody knows that picture I put a meme out, not too long ago, where that guy's whipping the brother to the whipping post and the little black boy's watching. That's exactly what they're trying to do now. Only difference is now they can hit send and they can broadcast that to 300 million homes. You understand what I'm saying? That's exactly what they want to see, the biggest black man crying. All we're seeing now is buck breaking in modern form. It's buck breaking with technology. It's not just going on the plantation and only people on the plantation can see it. It's happening on the plantation, and now they got cameras and satellites where they can send it out the world. So we got to make sure that every time they put this energy out there, we got to stand up and we got to make sure that that shit does not get passed down. It doesn't, because if not, you're going to have a bunch of people who've seen these 6 foot tall athletes crying, and then they're going to say, well, damn, if he's crying, is that what I'm supposed to do? Y'all remember when LeBron came out like a year or two ago and he said, black folks, we scared out here. We scared in these streets. He said he was scared. He told you. He told you he's scared. You feel me? He wanted to take a nap. He wanted to lay down, and he didn't really want to face the situation. So I'm not surprised the big ass 6'9", 260-pound black man talking about he's scared is the same black man running around here saying Kyrie Irving was wrong. And it's the same black man who was at a wedding hanging out with somebody from the other community making those same type of deals. So this is all interconnected. And this is what me and Zilla wanted to accomplish today, to show everybody that just because it's a situation occurring with Dave Chappelle, a situation occurring with Kyrie Irving, you have to connect the dots all the way across the spectrum. The same way that you can see this shit play on in the political world, we're sending brothers to jail, false accusations, smearing them, slandering them, trying to humiliate them publicly, the fake apologies. All of this shit is connected with one simple goal in mind, and that is to bring down the black man, to bring down the black woman. And if you bring them down together, then you've brought down the black household. So that's exactly what they're doing, and ain't nobody gonna stop it but us. So it's on us as the black grassroots to fight back and to counter that, because like I said earlier, imagine right now if the black grassroots wasn't here, what they be doing to Kyrie Irving. Because the only people talking sense right now, the only people standing up for this brother, the only people who are line of defense for this brother is us. Because if we were not here, Kyrie Irving would probably be in prison. They probably said, I know we can't put you in prison for posting a link, but we can now. Joe Biden would have wrote the motherfucking law, and Kyrie would have been in jail last week. So this is what we're going to have to do. We got to continue to make sure that this shit doesn't play out, because if they can affect one, they can affect us all. You dig where I'm coming from, my family?
Absolutely. Because, I mean, that's one of the things, like even some of my own experiences here in my city, they want to set an example. If they got somebody, that is, they view as a strong man or even a strong influence, they always got to make sure that they can maintain control. That's why you've heard so many stories about the entertainment industry as a whole. And be clear, sports is part of the entertainment industry. So they aren't excluded. They're just as much Hollywood as anyone else. So they have to follow suit. You can't expect these dudes to be out there like, this dude works for the mouse. These cats work for ABC and NBC and Fox. These people are working for these entities. You can't just go willy-nilly and say, well, no, sir. No, sir. That is every media platform, because think of this. ESPN is owned by Disney. Now, if you do right by Disney, you could definitely get plugged in there. You might even be able to make it on one of them Marvel Universe shows or movies or something, right? But what if you diss those executives at Disney? How does that work out? Boy, these folks shut your ass out on such a grand scheme that people be like, damn, if you run into a dude at the grocery store, you gonna be like, damn, I thought you was dead. These people will bury you, family. So it's like that when people were trying to get out there in front of Kanye West and trying to say, hey, man, just be quiet and take this little covering here. Well, I shout out to the minister. I appreciate the minister, but I took that like a slight. I'm just like, oh, you idiot. Oh, damn it, dude. Stop shooting yourself in the foot, Kanye, and just please, please, please be quiet. And so Dave Chappelle comes out here and he throws another softball to Kanye. Hey, this is how you buy yourself some time. Essentially saying, leave him alone. Because again, you're still in a position as your black billionaire, you're still in a position to be done because like you said earlier, brother, Eddie Griffith said it best. They do not let their people go out of here unscathed. So how did he ever let they can say this and they're gonna let it? You handed them the slip to do you. You understand what I'm saying, brother?
Absolutely, family. I mean, I sat back one time, me and Queen Alpha, and we went through every black celebrity. And, just in the celebrity world, we don't even have to get into the regular world because the numbers get astronomical. But just within the celebrity world, and we went through them all. And name me a brother or sister that's made it out clean without some type of some type of slander that they attach. And every single one of those is sketchy and very skeptical. I sat back and watched the news turn Prince into a damn drug addict over a weekend. Prince was known as a Jehovah Witness who was a good dude who put out, work. He helped everybody. And when the brother passed away mysteriously over a damn weekend, all of a sudden the news said this man was a damn drug addict. They just completely spin that on. They got to put that on top of him. We already know what they put on top of our brother Michael Jackson. You can't give him any iota because they're going to take it and they're going to run with it. You feel me? Everybody, like we said, Tupac, Kobe Bryant. I mean, people who've been squeaky clean, or as my brother was saying earlier, people who have been exonerated. Shout out to our brother Ray earlier. He made a point. He said these guys are not just not guilty. These folks have been exonerated, meaning whatever charges, it has been proven you did not commit them. And the dominant society talks around that. They'll just be like, yeah, but he did it. And they'll put in print and they'll put in these articles that this happens. Brothers and sisters, do not make it out clean in this game. If you are talking that real shit and you're being true to yourself and you are really doing anything, speaking truth to power, they will put something on you and it will stick to you forever. And then you're going to have a bunch of brothers and sisters who are going to be complicit in your downfall. We're sitting here right now. We talk about what happened with Kobe Bryant. Oprah came out, Gayle King, they came out, threw him under the bus. Oprah was supposed to be friends with Michael Jackson and she throws him under the bus all the time. You feel what I'm saying? Shaq, Shannon Sharp, Charles Barkley, these guys are throwing Kyrie under the bus right now. You see it all the time. So not only do you have to deal with the dominant society who participates in this, but you also have to deal with other brothers and sisters who do the same exact thing. And I'm very rare to even call them brothers and sisters. Okay, just other black people who do it, because you're not somebody's brother or you're somebody's sister if you're throwing them under the bus based on lies that you know damn well aren't true. That is somebody who's off code. And if you are off code, you're not a brother or sister of mine. You feel where I'm coming from?
Absolutely, brother. Because one of the things, man, these we're always up against the beast. It's like, man, yeah, like brothers and sisters, you got to stand on your square, man. Because we got all this wavering shit out here, and I mean, golly, man, I just don't know what to say, man. It takes me by. Well, I guess I should say it doesn't take me by surprise, but kind of like how I'm feeling, it's showing us like we have the big numbers. It's showing us the true of the 300. That's kind of how I'm seeing all of this. You feel what I'm saying? It's like we're getting down to the 300 versus dealing with the big numbers. Because man, you want to be able to say, hey, I can stand with this brother. I can help stand in the gap for this brother, but with a Kanye that would still shoot yourself in the foot, it's like, how much help can you give? And I'm not finna respect anybody that turns on their own brother. You're gonna get out now. See, here's something I didn't like. Here's one thing I really, really didn't like that I saw. I saw Talib Kweli coming out dissing Kanye. I'm like, dude, didn't he produce one of your hits? I guess loyalty is just too much to ask for these days. But, some people have been saying he's been off code for a minute, so I guess it is what it is. Rilla Perry, what's going on, my brother? You can unmute yourself.
Hey, what's going on, B-Zilla? What's up, Black Alpha? Great space. I want to add on to what B-Zilla said about Kanye shooting himself in the foot. First of all, Dave Chappelle, when he was on SNL Saturday, great stand-up. And he said some real shit that really hit me. He was like, Kanye got in so much trouble, he got Kyrie in trouble. And basically what Beat Zilla said and what Jason Black said. It was Kanye shooting himself in the foot. I follow Kanye on Twitter, to see what's going on. And Kanye kept posting pictures of Kyrie, kept posting quotes of Kyrie, I'm like, Kanye, just chill out, bro. Like, come on, man. Like you come on now. You getting our boy up in the heat right now, man. Just let him live. You already getting buried. Let our brother Kyrie live. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just glad that a lot of these coons are retracting their statements about what they said about Kyrie. And Adam Silver said that he said what he said about Kyrie not being anti-Semitic and all that. But yeah, all I'm saying was Kanye he definitely shot himself in the foot, and he damn near tried to shoot Kyrie in the foot. And I'll land my plane there. Thank you, brothers.
Big facts, man. I didn't even realize that he was tweeting that brother.
Hey, he was telling on him, wasn't he? Hey, I didn't even think about that.
Oh, what's wrong with this nigga, man? Oh, come on, fam. See, that's the shit I'm talking about, yeah, but we just can't throw him under the bus. This dude is sitting up here driving knives in niggas' backs every chance he gets. I mean, what's up with this dude? I can't, man, I can't rock with that. Damn, Kanye. And then other people got to come to your defense, and then you slapping at their hands like, no, I'm good. Let me go ahead and drown. God damn, man. I just, it's flabbergasting, man. Like, maybe this dude really is not well. Because just like Chappelle said, hey, I know a little bit from Hollywood. A lot of Jews. I mean, a lot. And so to say something so crazy when you know everybody that you are doing business with, there's not one business meeting that you are going into, Kanye West, that does not involve them people. How on earth would you ever go out there and then start shitting on black folks? This dude's on the island, man, and it's by his own doing. So when you got somebody like the minister calling all the FOI to town, and they already on one accord, ready to stand with the brother, Reza Islam can't even make the rally because he's on post, and just to have this dude go out there, but I think it's a slight. Oh man, really, dude? It's like you can't help somebody that is looking to destroy themselves. What we can say is, hey man, Kanye kind of gotta eat this one, but Kyrie and Chappelle, we got them brothers, man. They good. They solid brothers. We got them down pat. They within the fold. But they ain't doing shit off code. I mean, good grief. Black Star TV, I see up on stage, my brother. You can go ahead and unmute yourself, my brother. Go ahead.
Peace, love, and reparations to everybody in the room. What's up, Black Alpha? What's good? Beat Zilla, my brother. What's going on?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so I wanted to speak on Kyrie, actually. I was talking to a friend of mine, and Kyrie actually held his ground, and I think that this really isn't about that thing that he posted, and it's really about 2 years ago when he didn't take that vaccine, or the jab, sorry. When he didn't take the jab, and he missed out, because Kyrie gets about 300 and something, 80,000 or 400 something thousand a game. So he missed a lot of games. And when I went back in his Twitter feed before he posted that thing from Amazon, the video or the book, he actually had posted that New York has to pay him back. It was somebody else's tweet, but he retweeted that. So he already knew that he was about to get that bread back. And I think that they are trying to, make him miss out on them games now, especially as Black Alpha mentioned, they extending, like he's supposed to been come back, but they're extending it because they know that they're going to have to pay him back millions. And one thing the NBA doesn't like, they don't like them brothers sitting down and getting paid for nothing, because they actually did that to Derrick Rose before when his knee was hurt and he kept saying he wasn't ready to come back yet. He needed some more time. They was getting on him. They got Stephen A. Smith and the same coons to get on him and stuff like that. So again, I don't think that is I really don't think that it's about that. I think it's because he won that war, but a lot of people don't want to go back there because it's like 2 years ago. You know, sometimes we be stuck in right now. So again, if you go back, he actually won that, and he didn't ever take that that jab, and he really rocks with Rizza Islam. So I think that's another reason, they like, man, he really got the back of the community, and that's what's going on. But I also wanted to say too that brothers that they have a big media conglomerate, and they spending billions and billions and billions of dollars, and we don't have 10% of that, and we reaching more of the masses of our people than them. And I know that they hate that because we got celebrities, and we got trust me, we have the people on the street, which the gangsters, the drug dealers, the Bloods and Crip, the gang members. So again, a lot of people are watching, even y'all, you know what I'm saying? So again, keep doing what you're doing. And I just wanted to say my piece, and thank you.
Man, shout out to you, my brother. And great point, man, that you made about, because I did a live on that. And that was my first chiming in on the whole Kyrie incident altogether. It's like, is this more about what would happen before? So is this about his previous stand? Because let's be clear, that brother didn't say nothing. So when you have something like him being bold enough in the face of all of the jab shame that they was doing to black folks, again, I see it. I definitely see the angle. That's why one of the first things I brought up was like, is this more about him not taking that shit? Because basically it's a black man standing on a square. So really that's what it comes down to. He stood for something, and we don't want to have our paid for Negroes starting to get wise and start thinking that they need to start taking up black causes. So I definitely see that angle at play, my brother. What about you, Alpha?
See, this is why I love dealing with the family, man. Y'all brothers is intelligent. Much love. Our sisters as well. I love this because y'all say things that literally accelerate my thoughts and keep me on edge and keep me on game, man. I appreciate that. That's a good point, Black Star. That's a real good point. Because if we are talking about buck breaking, then it does tie into the plantation where Kyrie from last year and the decisions he made, he become an outlaw. And we all know how they have to deal with outlaws. If they can't get you here, they're going to get you down the line. You feel me? So that's a damn good point. And we have to actually just say that's what it is. That's exactly what it is. Where Shaq and those guys are known, coons, sellouts. So therefore, they get treated in a sellout fashion, where Kyrie was acting as if an outlaw, being an outlaw. Therefore, they're going to go ahead and treat him like an outlaw. So they're going to watch every little thing he does. They're going to try to jump on him for every little item that they can find. This is exactly what they do. They may not get you today. They may get you tomorrow. You feel me? Matter of fact, we were just talking about Michael Jackson, right? What happened? Michael Jackson started doing what? He started becoming an outlaw. He started bucking the system, right? What they end up doing to Michael Jackson, they start putting charges on him because he was being an outlaw in the music industry. He wasn't going out there singing and dancing and making these folks billions of dollars. Mike was making billions, fuck millions. Mike was making billions of dollars. So they said, okay, you're going to play ball? Because trust and believe, they came to Michael Jackson multiple times and asked him if he's going to play ball. And then he didn't play ball. He went and bought catalogs. He bought the Beatles, Sony, got all Sony stuff. And then next thing you know, here come the charges. Here come all the slander. Same thing with Prince, as we were speaking about Prince earlier. Same thing happened to him. They tried to get Prince to play ball and let them basically control his career. And what he do? He went on his whole thing where he was Prince was a goddamn outlaw. You want to talk about an outlaw? That guy was a complete outlaw to the music industry. As a matter of fact, everything these people are doing nowadays about being independent, Prince was doing that shit back in the early 90s. So therefore, what they do, they found something to stick on him. It's exactly what's going on right now with brother Kyrie Irving. They seen what he did last year, and they said, oh, you're not going to play ball. You're not going to do what we're doing. We have $1 trillion initiative to pump what they got pumping. Everybody knows what it was. They all did that to him last year, and he bucked the system. He said, hell to the no. Why everybody from LeBron James, all the other Bucks was saying, we're going to go along with it. Kyrie said no. They said, okay, we got you. We may not get you today. We may not get you tomorrow, but we will get you, because anybody who is an outlaw, this is what happens. It goes back, like we were saying, back to the plantation. When you had a brother or sister who said they wasn't going to go and pick cotton all day long. They weren't going to sit there and kiss master's ass. They weren't going to sit there and do the hold down and all the other shit that everybody else is doing. They may not got you now, but they'll get you later. They may not get you at your career. They may get you outside your career, or they'll get you within your career. It doesn't matter. One way or another, they will get you for being an outlaw, for not operating within the system, because it's all a system of control. It's all a system of control. And the most powerful thing a black man can do is to not go by the system of control. But as that's powerful and empowering to us, it's the worst nightmare for the dominant society. They got to make sure that we're all in line. And once you, matter of fact, didn't that person come out and say, put Kyrie in his place? Am I wrong? Did I hear that? Did I hear that, Zilla?
Yes, sir, you did, my brother.
That right there proves the point that our brother Black Star just made. That's the point right there. He had to be put in his place. The fact that he wasn't going along with it last year or now this year, that shows you that he's an outlaw who's not operating within being in his place. So therefore, here comes the slander. And I'm going to say this, family, and we can this recording, the cameras is rolling. Okay, let's get this straight. I would say within the next 6 months to a year, there'll be something completely different that they're going to say about Kyrie Irving that has nothing to do with last year, and it has nothing to do with this year. If we do not see Kyrie Irving come out and, you know, bow down to these people and make a bullshit apology and kiss their ass, and basically put it this way, the more Kyrie has came out and not went along, the more that clock is ticking, the more they're going to get upset with him. And I would say within the next couple of months to a year, there will be some story about Kyrie Irving that has nothing to do with either one of these. And that is when they're really sticking it to him. So let's all keep our eyes focused on that, because that's going to be coming down the pike very, very, very soon. And understand we all calling that right now at the new black media, because I knew people personally when Michael Jackson bought the rights or whatever to the music, everybody said, well, they're going to get him on something. And then boom, it came down. So don't be surprised. And here, you know, a couple months from now, a year from now, they'll say Kyrie Irving did this, this, or this. It's the same exact thing, the same exact play.
Well, you know, it's funny that you said that too, and going back to the Prince part, because, you know, I'm just thinking back, you know, while he was living, especially around, you know, them last few years, because a lot of my people were around you. So there's never been anything that was kind of related to him by about like drug use and shit like that, because that. But I will say this. If anything, he probably was on them painkillers, because he did have to have surgery on his feet. But but outside of that, you know, just from my own recollection of remembrance, yeah, none of them ever said anything about him being on that. He was always the introvert dude, and but shit, I could definitely say, hell, I ate well my one night with him. So hey, and he put a lot of people I know to work. So I mean, down to from hairstylists, makeup stylists, and all types of shit like that. So he was one of them behind the scenes down ass brothers, because everybody that worked around him was pretty much black. I don't think he didn't have a lot of non-black folks working for him at all, to be quite honest. Like, but for like public consumption's sake, you'll probably see him around some ambiguous looking people. But nah, man, when you was looking at who was really riding with this dude, nah, he, like I said, yeah, good luck finding a white person in his crew. If anything, they're probably like the stage hands or something like that. But I never saw nobody like that around him, especially in his inner circle. Nope. Even his bodyguards was black. So yeah, that's just it's like, wait a minute. Yeah, they really made that dude a drug addict in over a weekend. And I mean, he never moved like that. That's crazy.
I remember on you know, I remember when the situation happened, just sitting there watching the news, and it's kind of what we talk about again, where anytime they have something bad on a brother or sister, they speak in definitive terms. Every time it's something bad about someone from the dominant society, they speak in very abstract terms. And I remember watching that with Prince, and by the end of the weekend, even though people were coming out and saying it was a lie about him being a drug addict, it was like people that were close to the situation, as you speak of, one of his bodyguards was like, yo, this is lie. This is a straight lie. And I never heard from that brother again. They got him completely out of there. So they do this, you know what I'm saying? You know, anybody heard from Conrad Murray? When's the last time anybody heard from that guy? You know what I'm saying? What I'm saying? They understand how they do it, and they use the media as it. So this is why we always talk about counterintelligence and being able to actually put out things and statements that we can actually have a narrative. One thing that they do not like is that we do have a new black media, and that's why we got to make sure that the new black media is never underestimated. And when I say new black media, family, mind you, I'm not just talking about people with YouTube shows. I'm not just talking about people who host Twitter Spaces. We are all a part of it. Okay, we are all a part of it. Half of the news cycle comes from everybody. Each one teach one. So when I say the new black media, I'm really talking about the black grassroots. And this is the beauty of nowadays, is that we can counter a lot of the lies. Because I remember back in the old days, they would just tell a lie and it was what it was. You couldn't say nothing about it. It was it. That was it. Whatever the news said was the truth. Now we can actually counter that with real brothers and sisters who say that ain't real. And y'all know we be dropping receipts. We got receipts for days. Like I said, it's to the point now, we pass receipts, man. We giving out spoilers. You feel me? We're really calling out things before they even do it. So that's a credit to us, and we got to go ahead and pop our own collars on that, because no longer do we just sit back and wait for them to tell us what the story is. We actually tell them what it is, and then we tell them that we reject any falsehoods or fake narratives that they place upon us, and we're going to control our own destiny throughout the images, throughout the terms, throughout the words, throughout the statements and articles that are presented. We're going to make sure that they're written in black grassroots handwriting.
Big facts. And that's why it has to be us. And something else, real quick, that I want to quickly mention something else that Kanye West did. Man, what Kanye West was doing is something that Michael Jackson did about a month before. They had Combat Murray put the stuff to him. The things he was saying, he was dropping certain information that you don't ever really hear anyone say. You hear conspiracy theorists talk about this or that. You never ever hear anybody from that side saying, this is what it is, and this is what you thought it was, and yes, this is a sacrifice, and this is a sacrifice, or this is how they do it in the industry. What he was doing was kind of lifting up the veil. And when that happens, they will make sure that they prove a point. They're going to prove it very, very quickly. With that being said, she means business, and then Calvin.
Hey, I just came back up to jump in on this MJ situation, because I want everybody to really look at the MJ situation as a full-on case study of white supremacy. Because the thing is, with MJ, a lot of us had no idea all the power moves he was making in the music industry back when they started initially attacking him and calling him weird and all that stuff. And then they levied those child molestation charges. Now, this recent situation is also a very good case study, because the only reason why they were not able to cancel him, they were definitely trying to just put him out the paint for good, because we all know a new Michael Jackson super fan is born every year all around the world. His impact is crazy. There is not another artist ever that has reached the generations to the level that he has. Like, new generations that were not alive when he was alive love Michael Jackson like he just came out. It is incredible. They were not able to fully, ruin his career with his music, like stopping people from listening to his music and pulling it off everywhere. They definitely tried it, but his fans were on it. They were dropping all the receipts. They had studied his case. They were putting it all out there, because the media was acting like he didn't even go, like he was never found innocent of the charges. Like, if you go back and pay attention, they barely brought up the fact that he was found innocent, or the fact that Wade Robson actually testified at his trial that he never did anything to him. His fans were on it so much that when they put out that documentary, they had to edit it before they put it out in other countries, because the fans were calling out the lies in the documentary. That's how on it they were. And so it's really a good case study, because you get to see, like, even when Professor Black Truth recently was talking about all the music moves and stuff and the people that were after MJ, I had a revelation because I've never been an Eminem fan. So I didn't pay attention to half of the stuff that he did. I didn't know until maybe like last year, I want to say, that he actually made fun of Michael Jackson's hair catching on fire in his music video in the early 2000s. And when I found that out, I was like, that doesn't even make sense for him to be doing that because, first of all, that situation happened like 20 years ago. It's not, first of all, it's not even funny, but it's not even relevant. So why would you be doing that? But then when Professor
MJ
Black
was
Truth
hella petty on that.
Right, but when Professor Black Truth started breaking down, the dates and stuff of what was going on in the early 2000s with the whole Sony situation, which I knew about, but when he was resurfacing that, I said, let me go back and look at this time frame. They were using Eminem. He was getting on code with the other white supremacists and attacking MJ to lessen his credibility in a very sadistic manner. And most people would not even think of that connection because they attack from all angles. The other thing I want to say is that even with Harpo lost a lot of credibility this last time when she stepped out on this MJ thing because it didn't. First of all, you're on the yacht with a known a known person with a very seedy, like, nasty background, who was one of the people that was heading up the whole charge going against MJ, David Geffen, right? You're on his yacht posting pictures talking about how you're watching this documentary on your birthday. Who wants to watch a documentary about child molestation on their birthday and is like celebrating? That is strange within itself. Then you're going to have these two people on your show who, if anybody did any, research on, they would know that their case, that their Wade Robson and the other dude, their case had already been dismissed. I think in civil court, that they were trying to sue MJ's estate because they found them lying. Now, why would you have a special with supposedly an audience full of survivors of child molestation with two people who are highly suspect that have already been caught lying? That ruined her credibility in ways that people like don't even know. Like, Oprah has had a lot of things that she's done over the years, but because we're always constantly dealing with so much, we're trying to raise our families, survive all this madness that's thrown at us all the time. Everyone didn't really put in each thing that she's done into proper perspective. But when this situation happened, people that's been keeping the receipts was dropping all the receipts. And so the thing with her is that this was like kind of the final nail in the coffin as far as her credibility. That's why she doesn't have as much influence with Black people as she used to, because people who were kind of on the fence, like giving her like, oh yeah, we see she moves a little funny sometimes, but yeah. With the MJ thing, it was like a full exposure of her hand. And it was so bad that she had to turn her comments off on a lot of her social media sites because they were flooding her comments with snake emojis. So the MJ situation really, really, really is a case study. And you have to go all the way back into even the 80s to understand the type of power moves that he was making. He set so many precedents when it comes to even just artists and the type of, contracts that they get from labels. Like, it was a big deal. So in addition to him buying having owning half of the Sony's catalog, because they just try to pretend like, oh, he just owned the Beatles catalog. No, he owned quite a bit of catalog music. And even LaToya said on The View when he died that they killed him for his catalog. She said that out of her mouth on TV. So that whole situation is just a very, very good case study. And I just wanted everyone to kind of, when you get a chance, just really start like researching it.
Absolutely. And one of the things that MJ did do about that Eminem situation is went and bought his catalog. So, that was another thing that joke was on him, because at the end of the day, Eminem's catalog ended up in Michael Jackson's estate. So, I guess, yeah, he cracked the jokes, that's for sure. And he came after him. But see, that lets you know that MJ knew what time it was and knew how they was coming at him and why. So, he knew. And when he came out at the press club was that the month before his eyes and started dropping off names, I knew then. I was like, oh, okay, well, this he's at the end of his rope out because he's dropping straight names. And that's what I'm kind of looking at Kanye thing. It's like, okay, I see what you said, but are you really ready to go down that road? And see, MJ still had the people. Kanye ain't got that. Kanye does not have the backing, the grace of the people. See, MJ, we already saw what that was. We saw basically telegraph what that was with the whole MJ thing. But now with you came Kanye and that kind of thing, only that MJ never threw anybody else under the damn bus. Like, hey man, I'm having troubles. Get over here with me, man. Hey man, them people coming at me. Hey man, come stand with me, brother. No. Can't do that, man. Cannot do that. You feel me, my brother?
Man, 100%. Didn't I tell everybody how two people can say the same thing for two different reasons? That's what goes on with the Michael Jackson situation and the Kanye West situation, as well as the Kyrie Irving situation and the Kanye West situation. I'm going to say it like this. Kanye, he said what he said, but the reason why he said what he said is completely different than Michael Jackson and Kyrie Irving. Kanye really was upset and he was having a temper tantrum because he couldn't get full white access. That's his problem. And if you watch him and you go back and observe him, he's been throwing these temper tantrums about not having full white access for years. Kanye West basically said, I got $1 billion. Can I be white? And they said, no. He said, well, my $1 billion ain't good enough. He said he went and got him a white wife. And they said, no, you still can't be white. He said, what, my white wife ain't good enough? And then he wanted to get into the fashion industry. Anybody who knows Kanye West, you can go back years ago. Kanye West used to throw these big ass temper tantrums about not being accepted into the fashion industry. Kanye West wanted full white access. And since he could not get full white access, he went on a whole tangent about that community. Okay, this wasn't about being black. This wasn't about black empowerment. What he was saying wasn't on the better half or the welfare of us. No, he was saying those things because he wanted to be full white. And he understands that you're going to go whatever in that side of the world, you're going to go and run into a wall. And there's going to be areas where your ass is not going to get through. You can fucking bleach your skin. You can do a goddamn backdrop in fucking cake soap. You can go get you a fucking white wife. You can go get you a white neighborhood. You can go get $1 billion fucking dollars. We know what you still are. Remember, Kanye wanted to be a nigga in Paris. Let's get that straight. Remember, he wanted to be a nigga in Paris. All right. Not just talking about location. Okay. Identification. He wanted to be that. And then when he found out that he could not be that, he went on a whole fucking tangent. And for the black folks who's running around here saying, man, Kanye did that and it's a chess move and he did it for us. No, he did not. And then they started trying to compare him to Michael Jackson and saying, well, Michael Jackson, he did the same thing. No, he did not. No, he did not. Just because you say something about that person across the street and I say something about that person across the street doesn't mean we said it for the same reasons. Kanye's reasons were a temper tantrum because he understood no matter what he did, no matter what he attained, no matter where he went, he wanted to be in. He wanted to be an insider. And they told his ass, quick, you can't be an insider. Now, when Michael Jackson did it, Michael Jackson was saying it for real. As a matter of fact, that same speech where Michael Jackson gave that you were just referencing, Brother Zilla, remember, Michael Jackson said straight up, ain't nobody got to tell me I'm black. I know I'm black. I look in the mirror every day. That's what Michael Jackson said. Kanye West said, white lives matter. Now, you understand the difference between what these two individuals said. But I'm going to say that before we get to the next hand. I'm going to say this as well. I don't know if people know this, but the same week that Prince died was the same week that they got Michael Jackson's masters back. Understand that. So when Prince passed away, that same exact week, I'm talking about in a matter of 3 to 4 days, was the same exact week where the company that Michael Jackson, Sony, they ended up getting his masters back. That's why it was notorious that you never, ever heard Michael Jackson's music on TV and commercials unless he signed off on it. You never heard Prince. Prince wasn't on the internet. You couldn't find shit about Prince on YouTube or anywhere. Now, all of a sudden, you hear Prince, you hear Michael Jackson, you hear Whitney Houston, you see all of these people, you hear all of their music on fucking McDonald's commercials, Burger King, fucking Walmart. You hear it everywhere because these folks are worth more gone than they were here, because here you have to deal with them and the money stays in house. And when they're gone, the money goes to everyone else. So basically, and everybody knows about Prince, they said Prince has enough music in his vault at his house. He had enough music to literally put out albums, not songs, albums for the next 100 years. The motherfucker had a damn theater, a music studio in his house. Zilla, you know better than anybody, family. You know exactly what I'm talking about. And all of those songs, who owns them now? It's not Prince's family. It goes back to the company that Prince tried to get away from. Same going back to Michael Jackson. Who owns all of his material? Who owns his intellectual properties? The same companies that they went after. So what they want to do, and we all know this is just me saying the same thing we've already stated, they want to take the wealth from us that we generate as people, and then they want to get us the fuck out the paint. So therefore, everything that should be passed down to our family gets passed down to their family. Send it back to you, Zilla.
Yeah, now that you mention it, yeah, I need to see about the chain of them dollars, because I still have some checks that need to be coming my way. But next to the next hand, Rilla Perry back on the stage. Go ahead, brother, you got it.
Hey, brothers. I want to just basically comment on what She Mean Business said, and basically what you guys said. Okay, so on the Watch Your Throne album, I remember Kanye, and this album came out about 10 years ago. And first of all, that's one of the most cooniest albums ever, right? Jay-Z and Kanye was saying some coon ass shit on that album, if you listen to it straight through. But there's this one line from Kanye he said on that album, and he was like, "I would even let my kids be Republican to let everybody know that they love white people." You know what I'm saying? And that line stuck out to me when I was younger. I was like, "What?"
Whoa!
Right? It was like a really bold line to say. You know, Kanye, he's very raunchy, so you know, I was just like, he's just being funny and charismatic. But now, when you think about it, when it comes full circle, it's like those bars really mean something. And what I wanted to ask you two brothers is, based on what I said earlier about Kanye kind of dragging Kyrie down with him, and Dave Chappelle saying that Kanye got in so much trouble that Kyrie got in trouble. Do you, and you know, based on the people that are still supporting Kanye after his comments about George Floyd and Harriet Tubman about slavery, do you guys still think Kanye will still have the same influence over black people that he did previously?
No, I don't.
No, me neither, family. I think it's about to be a wrap for Kanye. It's about to be a big wrap.
You took the words right out my mouth, bro.
I remember Tariq made a point. It's like, who's dude's base? You feel me? Like, you have no base. You literally, family, I don't know if anybody's heard me. Anybody's familiar with the Black Alpha Network. There's a term I like to use, and it's called being racially homeless. Okay? Kanye ass is about to be racially homeless. He's about to be in a fucking tent on the corner, racially homeless. The community that he's catered to, like you were just saying, Rilla, where he said he'll let his kids be Republicans to let you know he love white folks. The fucking nigga in Paris, all of that shit, that same community don't rock with him. They don't support him. He's went on a whole tangent about a group that you're not supposed to speak about. And then he's already trolled us in the same week. I mean, in the same week, he pissed off the black grassroots, the dominant society, and those other groups. So it's starting to look like dude is a rap. Let me ask y'all this. When he just went on his little thing about who can, remember he was like, you can't control me. You can control this person, this person. I heard Jay-Z and Beyonce. Who else did he say?
I'm not sure. Who else did he mention?
Yeah, I forgot.
He said Shaq and I can't remember who else. I know he said Shaq. I'm pretty sure he said Shaq.
Right. Okay, he did. He said Shaq, he said LeBron, he said Jay, he said Beyonce, he said Charles Barkley, all black people. Didn't mention one white person in the whole thing. Didn't mention one white person. Just like Jalen Rose just went and apologized, and somehow in his apology, he ended up digging at black folks. These motherfuckers will get told to apologize by white people and then somehow make a dig at black people in the middle of their apology. You feel me? So you're not making a dig at the motherfucker who's got you apologizing like you a little fucking kid, like a second grader. You big grown ass man apologizing. A grown man's making you apologize, but you don't say nothing about them. Somehow, in these people's apologies, they somehow dog black people, because it shows you really in reality, they feel it's us and their smoke is towards us. So I'm seeing right now with Kanye is that it ain't the community that took your fucking money. It ain't the community that took your endorsements. It's not the community that you've caped for the last 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years. It's not them that you taking digs at. You taking digs at Minister Farrakhan. Back to you, Zilla.
Well, can I say this real quick? The other thing too is that Kanye's influence on with Black people has been a slow drip in terms of declining, because he was even doing a lot of suspect stuff when he was trying to make the Confederate flag something, and like fashionable, and just even his whole relationship with Kim, and a lot of Black women already know how them people was culture appropriating all of our stuff, and her nasty behavior towards Black women, and just all types of stuff. So that was already, something that was pulling people away. And this guy was hanging out with Marilyn Manson, who is a known white supremacist, which is, I mean, insane. So his influence was already slipping, and that's why, just even for the people who are still stuck on the Democrat, plantation, they were highly upset with him still over all the MAGA stuff. So he just, just is not going to be able to have the type of support. And I think he just really suffers from that whole mentality that you have a lot of people that think that everything is really just about class. Oh, it's not really about racism and white supremacy. It's really just about class. And if I just get enough money, I'll be able to surpass all this and, not have to deal with the racism and all the stuff that the peons have to deal with. Like some people really buy into that mess. And it's a trick, because this is how they get you catering to these other groups. And once you start catering to these other groups, your music isn't as good, and then your fan base starts dwindling, and these other people are not going to necessarily uphold you the same way that we will. Your foundation is shattered, and so once they get you separated, now you are kind of left to your demise with them. And that's why they do it. They gas these people's head up, making them think that they have surpassed being Black just because of their money and their influence.
And that's absolutely what I see out of Kanye West. He thought that his class outraced himself. So, he's outclassed himself. So now he's not Black. It's like, no, absolute bullshit. Go ahead, really. You got it.
Sorry about that, brother. And based off what She Mean Business says, next time we're going to see Kanye, he going to pull a Tommy Strong, and you have his suitcases in his hand, knocking on Martin's door, asking, where can I put my drawers, dog? Because this nigga's done. Coonan has no retirement plan, bro. I'm telling you. That's what happens with Coonan. I'm sorry. That's what happens.
Oh, that's funny as hell, man. But so true. There is no retirement plan for Coonan, man. And that brother's finding out the hard way. And where that brother just go? I was just finna come to the seen your hand up. If you want to come on back up, you can come on back up, brother.
Hey, family. I want to elaborate on something real quick, family.
Go ahead.
Our sister was very, very correct with that. With these folks, they want another term we use over on the Black Alpha Network is WOP. Now, I don't mean with A, WOP. They want to be white on paper. That's what it is. They want to out source everything. They want to financially get away from Blackness. They want to go ahead and have good credit. They want to good credit their way out of Blackness. Anything that they feel can get them away from Blackness, they'll really start to believe this stuff. And Kanye is going down the same OJ situation, and it's been proven historically that anybody who's ever done anything to get away from Blackness found out that you can't get away from it. You know what I'm saying? OJ thought the same thing. OJ thought he was going to go ahead and get him a woman, and he thought he was going to goddamn run through airports and be a football star, and they stripped all that away. What our brother was saying earlier in the brief conversation we had about Black folks who want to go to the suburbs and they want to go get them a nice little home in the suburbs, and they think they're safe. And the next thing you know, they getting in fights with the goddamn security, the motherfuckers, trying to keep them out their own home. They're like, what are you doing living in your home? I mean, how many times have we seen the story of a Black person literally being apprehended at his own house because they think that you stole your house from yourself? You understand what I'm saying? You cannot finance your way out of this shit. You can't white woman your way out of this shit. You can't good job your way out of this shit. You can't good credit your way out of this shit. You can't nigga and perish your way out of this shit. It's all going to end up in the same exact place where it started, because it is what it's always been about, and it's about being black. Anti-black racism does not know your bank account. It don't matter. You may get a little goddamn trinket here and a trinket here. Let's be honest with you. These folks who get those trinkets, they think it's because of their money. No, you're getting it based upon you'll throw another brother or sister under the bus. Because trust and believe, the dominant society will go get them somebody who's broke, who will throw a black person under the bus. They don't give a fuck if you make $1 million. You can make $1 million right now, but go ahead and make $1 million and be like Prince and Michael Jackson. They made millions of dollars. But guess what? They were riding for us. So therefore, their money didn't mean anything. Okay. But you can go get somebody who's broke and to throw the black community on the bus. What's that guy's name? What's that dude's name that he be trying to talk to Tariq? Jesse Peterson. He can't even speak. What's that dude's name?
Jesse Lee Peterson.
Jesse Lee Peterson is a damn idiot. He can't even fucking talk. Any way on the shape of this planet Earth, they would never fuck with that dude at all. Okay, this dude fucking, my dog, my pit bull next to me speaks better English. Okay, that motherfucker can't even talk. But what does he do that's so appealing to the dominant society? He throws black people under the bus. So you see, we can't always make this notion that the money is going to be what allows you to come on in. No. You could be broke with nothing. As long as you're willing to sell out another black person, that is going to be your means into the community. And even those motherfuckers get broke. There's nothing that you can ever do. So you're just going to have to face the facts and deal with reality. And that's what Kanye West is dealing with, which is the same thing that O.J. Simpson dealt with, so on and so forth. You can go all the way down the line. At the end of the day, as I always say, the only movement, the only thing that's powerful, the only thing of substance that you could ever genuinely be a part of is being black. That is it. If you're black, you got a home. You come on in. We accept you. If you one of us, you can come on in. Anything other than that, I don't give a fuck if it's your political party. I don't give a damn if it's your religion. I don't give a damn if it's a record label, your interviews, your neighborhood, wherever you are. The only thing on this planet as a black person that you can be fully accepted in is being another black person. That is it. Anything outside of our lineage, our heritage, our culture, our race, you're just a fucking visitor, and visitors get their asses kicked out. And Kanye West is about to be racially homeless.
Real talk. Absolutely about to be racially homeless. And he did it to his damn self. It's like, okay. And when you got the minister going out of his way to call in his, like, he called in his people, he didn't have to do that, you know. So I mean, just to even circle the wagons for the family, because you understand the implications of the bigger picture. And it's still just, man, I feel like it's a slight. I was like, my nigga, come on.
Hey, can I add one person, Zilla? Let me add another person that I'm going to add this person. I think a lot of folks forgot about this dude because his ass went off cold with the dominant society and they loved him. Okay. It was Tiger Woods. Tiger Woods. You know that. Hey, when was the last time you seen Tiger Woods? I ain't seen that motherfucker on TV at all. I'm seeing golf events and his ass ain't even there. He violated that W woman because he thought he was a W. Now, mind you, Tiger Woods came in and they was talking all types of shit about Tiger Woods. Remember the dude talking about they eat fucking fried chicken and all? You remember all that shit?
Fuzzy Zeller.
Yeah,
you know
remember?
What's so funny about that? You know what's so funny about that? Is he cheats on his wife, gets his ass kicked, but he got to go apologize and go on the apology tour.
Hey, that motherfucker ran into a tree. He was trying to get away from that goddamn baseball bat. And this bitch was a nanny. She was a fucking nanny, and his ass was running from her, and then he apologized. His life ain't been the same since. And he was out there talking, what did he say? He was Kabbalian or some shit? Whatever the fuck that is. Yeah. Remember that shit?
Yes, sir. And that arrest photo just says B.
Straight up and down. We rest our case, family.
Oh, man. It's like, I don't know why you wanted it. I'm not black. I'm Kabbalian. Boy, they set up there that big ass black. I'll never forget. Tariq was like, "Hey, look at the photo," and it had the big old B circle.
That day he was Kabbalian nigga. That goddamn day.
Facts. East Side is in the Kid Gravity. Go ahead, my brother. You got it.
Oh man, peace to the fam, man. I'm laughing so hard, man. I damn near forgot what I was gonna say, man. But yeah, you know what he is now, that's for sure. I tell you that, all of them do. See, and this is something that I talked to our lieutenant about. You know, you want to talk about this whole nationality thing. You talking about, you know, a government that's based on fiat. You know, We doing our nationality papers to go into, United States of America Republic, which is by their accounts is Moorish nationality. That's fine. But we can't afraid to have a backbone to go against these white supremacists either. Just because we don't want to say we black. And this is, I guess what I'm coming to is that everybody that denounced that ended up finding out the hard way. I did 18 months in that sandbox over there, for some people who decided they didn't care about somebody else's nationality or, their sovereignty. You're going to learn one way or another. You just can't get around it. I'll yield.
Yes, sir, brother. You already know. Been there, done that. And I mean, again, don't ever let nobody tell you that, just because of your race, you don't have a right to defend yourself. Bullshit. If you got to go sit, you got to go sit. Kid Gravity, it's on you, brother.
Peace to the room. Peace to the room. I don't know if anybody sees what I just put in the Jumbotron, but this is the kind of shit we got to get away from. Y'all not about to start equating a struggle of a black person to a struggle of a real estate agent. It's not happening. Not today. And we got to get this dude off the block because this guy, he's going to start muddying the waters, especially when you guys are really going for your reparations. He's going to start trying to crowbar the Jewish experience into it. And we can't have that. They already get enough. They don't need no more. But just before I go down and listen, I think they don't like the fact that black people are starting to awaken. I know I'm not the most spiritual guy here, but I see a lot of us every day start saying, you know what, this ain't right. I got to start questioning this. And a lot of this happened in 2020 with the Bell Biv DeVoe. We started questioning things, and this went against the narrative. And then people started saying, you know what, maybe what all them crazy people that we were told were crazy were actually the same ones. And we got to start saying, you know what, nah, I don't agree with here, but I got history on my side. What you got to do about it? And as we're seeing, they can't have an honest debate and an honest dialogue because the second you try to hit them with facts, they go into their shell talking about we're being anti-Semitic, we're being racist. No, just like you love to point out our flaws, it's time for us to put your flaws in the mirror and you stand there and come to realization with yourself. Then you can move on and get away from us and live your life. But anyway, I'm going to yield there.
Absolutely, family. I don't think a lot of people even understand one of the reasons why these people have always called Minister Farrakhan anti-Semitic is because he was talking about the damage to our people, his people, by this group, and they've had their hands on it. And they have tried to call that anti-Semitic because, of course, those are people who receive reparations that also owe it to us. So if you don't understand or get that part, see that group right there that's getting reparations owes us reparations. And then you start digging into how much do they owe. So the world's most protected people under a guise of certain identities, you have to now talk about the sins of your people against our people. That's not anti-Semitic. That's just history. Nobody's putting anybody under the bus. I'm not saying go attack this group or attack that group. But if a group has oppressed another and you have made buku money and got control and power off of it, I don't think it's anti-you to mention that you got it. Because it's obviously not a problem exercising your strength and power when you are displeased with someone. You feel what I'm saying, brother?
100%, brother. That's actually a good point. We're going to have to start examining that because we're going to start getting to the point now where a lot of folks who owe us money, you're going to start seeing these propaganda pieces basically saying how we're anti them. And that's a sleazy way on getting out of paying us our debt. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what they're going to try to start pulling on us. They're going to start saying, well, we owe black folks money, so let's project our hatred on the black folks and say it's the other way around. Isn't it crazy, though, family? We spoke about this on my live the other night, fam. and everybody knows what I'm talking about in the space. Take this year alone, right? 2022. Let's just take this year. Have y'all noticed that every single religion, sexual preference, lineage, race has literally took turns and months at a time coming after foundational Black Americans? Look how the year started. The year started with another group getting a hate crime law based on them saying that we didn't like them. Then you had the tethers who came in from the diaspora. They took their turn. You feel me? We had the other community with a lot of colors in their flag. They took their turn. Look how this year is ending. It's ending the same way it started. I mean, literally. I mean, is there anybody else? I mean, we've literally went to what's next? Fucking pets. You know what I'm saying? Our fucking house. This for you, Rilla. Is the goddamn house pets? The cats gonna come out and say the goddamn we hate them too? They gonna get a goddamn animal protection law written because foundational Black Americans hate cats? I mean, what the fuck? Every single person, every single lineage, group, heritage, race, motherfucking preference. I don't give a fuck what your flag look like. They done all took fucking turns trying to project their hatred of us onto us. You feel me? And saying we do it to them. And that's the easiest way to get out of some dirt that you do. What's the first thing a motherfucker do when they wrong? They say, you do it too. That's exactly what it is. Foundational Black Americans don't care about nobody. A guy I got to meet at the reparations rally, our brother, Dr. Kaba. I always live by one of the quotes that Dr. Kaba said. Dr. Kaba's statement is, he said, the only problem we got is that you got a problem. Because if you didn't have a problem, we wouldn't have a problem. That's us. You feel me? We ain't got no problem with nobody. Never have, never will. I don't want to hear none of this shit that we sit at these tables and we 5 years old and our parents are telling us to hate another group. Man, that shit don't ever happen. I'm FBA on both sides. And I guarantee everybody in this damn space to tell you that. That is never a thing. That's what they do to us. They sit there and teach their little 2-year-old and 3-year-olds to blame it on the black man. I know y'all all seen the video with the little girl and the W woman and the mom is saying who took the cookie. And she said the black man did it. It's a little fucking kid getting taught that shit. They understand this shit by elementary school. They already understand anti-black racism and supremacy. They understand that. A lot of black folks don't really even comprehend the shit until they fucking teenagers because they think everything is good. So which one is it? Are we these people who getting taught to hate everybody at 5 years old? Or are we the black folks who think, everything is sweet? You got black folks in their 20s who ain't even figured this shit out. How would you not be able to figure it out in your 20s if you allegedly got taught this your whole life? We don't get taught hatred. You feel me? Only thing we ever do is get taught on who hates us, not to hate other people. So they're projecting that on us. And one of the reasons why we got to take this serious in terms of these celebrities, you got to remember every single celebrity that they try to put some type of anti on, somebody writes an article and say how it plagues our community. All right. Whenever they try to put something on a celebrity about take for instance, Dave Chappelle. They start getting on him about the LGBTQ community, right? And that started off with Dave Chappelle. But next thing you know, the fucking LA Times, the Washington Post, the Herald, New York Times, they all started writing, this is a problem in the black community. And then you get all the fucking bedwenches who come out and then they start saying the same exact thing. This is bigger than Dave Chappelle. This is really a black issue. This is the same thing they did with the other community, got the hate crime laws. They started saying, oh, it's bigger than a few celebrities. This is a black issue. And they're doing the same exact fucking thing right now. What happened with Kanye? He said what the fuck he said. And a lot of black folks wouldn't even fucking with dude. They're getting on our brother Kyrie right now. And all of a sudden, I'm starting to see articles that ain't even talking about Kyrie. They talking about all black people. They're saying, let's address the big secret of anti-Semitism in the black community. You see what I'm talking about? It starts off with celebrities and then they trickle that shit on to everybody. So people who say, man, well, we don't really need to care about that shit. Well, we're going to have to, focus on it. You ain't got to care. You ain't got to lose sleep over the shit, but you got to be very aware that it will start off as one individual and then they will follow you with article after article after article. I remember when the baby got canceled for the situation he did at the little music festival. That shit within 2 days wasn't even talking about the baby no more. They were talking about all black people, and they sit here and run that same game on us over and over and over. So we got to be very focused upon. It starts with one person, then it goes to 2, it goes to 3, it goes to 4. It started off with Kanye, then it went to Kyrie. Now that shit's on Dave Chappelle. Next week it'll be somebody else, and then eventually it's just gonna be everybody. And then eventually, like me and Zilla were saying, the end game is them writing some type of legislation based upon these things, so therefore they can lock us up, because they're not just satisfied with bringing down one black person. They're not satisfied with bringing down 2 black people. They want to take this propaganda and this smear campaign and they want to put us all behind bars based upon the falsehoods and the negative stereotypes that they place on black people. So be very aware of that, family. And this is why if you see something being done wrong to somebody like Kyrie Irving, we got to represent him and we got to let it be known, because if they can get Kyrie and lock him up, then they can get us all.
And that's one thing that I hope people understand, man, is that they start, like I said, unfortunately, R. Kelly was the perfect candidate because nobody was going to come defend him on that shit. So it works out to just basically push the envelope on exploration of new charges because nobody's going to defend this dude. So that's what, like I said, that bothered me from the start. And now we see where we at with it right now. And brother, you just said something that's made me think about it. You said the baby got canceled. Remember, the whole Dave Chappelle issue is over his comment about the baby.
Up, reeled it in. Hey, the same way that Dave Chappelle getting on right now is based upon Kyrie Irving. Same shit.
Man,
I didn't even think about that, bro. That's a damn good point.
Bro. I mean, I'm just like, wait, as you said, I'm like, well, wait a minute. Wasn't it the baby comment said you could kill a nigga in Walmart, but you can't make them upset. You can't hurt their feelings.
Same thing, family. Hey, brother, and you know what? It's crazy. Let's add on to that as well, brother. We could add on for days after that situation because, like we said, the baby lost millions of dollars. You know what I'm saying? He lost
sir.
And then what happened with Dave Chappelle? We all know they sent that dude on stage to come get Dave Chappelle. Dave Chappelle got tackled on stage. And mind you, this person snuck on a weapon. You feel me? Got past all security somehow. You know what I'm saying? And what happened? We all knew that shit was going to happen. Brothers and sisters was calling that shit out. And as soon as the news came back, they were trying to downplay. Remember some guy and he was there just to shake his hand. And then come to find out this motherfucker, a couple days later, he had a weapon. Come to find out he targeted Dave Chappelle, all of that shit. This shit's for real out here in the streets, man.
Hell yes, sir, brother. I'm like, man, that isn't like, oh, you guys is crazy. Conspiracy my ass. I saw A, I saw B, and I saw C. I don't need to relearn my alphabet. I saw the A, I saw the B, and I saw the C. I can spell. She means business, and then East Side as you got it. Go ahead, sister.
Yeah, so I'm gonna just say two more things and then drop down. But so going to something that you said about Minister Farrakhan, I truly believe one of the reasons, in addition to us threatening to boycott the NBA and people canceling their league passes and all that stuff, I think another reason why they started backing down is because when he said, "Come talk to me," they don't want to have to explain why they're not going to go sit down with him. I think they didn't want to have to explain why they don't have no intentions to go sit down and talk to Farrakhan. Because they know that's going to shut down their whole little scheme that they got going on with these lies and propaganda and stuff. But I wanted to point out also that Black Alpha, and to add on to what you were saying, that's what the Latinos started doing with that whole Power 106 situation too. They started trying to say, oh, we're racist against them and all, like trying to flip it on us. So yeah, this is a pattern that all of these groups are doing. You know, the word on the street is that, you know, go against the Black people, and if you do anything shady to them that's wrong, just flip it on them and say that, you know, they're racist and they're this and that against you. They're following right along with the white supremacist playbook, hook, line, and sinker. And, you know, I keep telling these people that, you know, for the ones who think that, you know, they're going to get the same benefits, all this stuff is going to blow up in their face. That's the part that they don't understand, because they don't understand white supremacy the way we do. And so good luck with that.
Hey, let me chime in real quick. Hey, sister, you're absolutely 100% correct. You know, it's sad that I'm sitting here breaking down everybody who's took turns coming against FBA, and I forgot the damn 106 situation, or the Power 106, whatever the fuck it is. I forgot that goddamn situation. So basically, there's been so many people that have took their turns trying to slander foundational Black Americans, you'll start to forget. That's how many there have been. And mind you, while that's happening on the West Coast this summer, they was out here with the, you know, those people coming after us. Way on the East Coast, you had the other Latinos saying that they created hip hop, and they was trying to go to war with us over that. I mean, literally, this is every single group that has come to this country has had an issue with us, and they literally have been taking turns. It feels like every 2 weeks it's one of them. I mean, hell, they done double back. I know for a fact the diaspora tethers, they done took turns. Like they'll come at us in April, they'll take off the next 2 months, they'll come back in goddamn June, July, they'll stop, take a pause, a break, eat some fucking have some Jollof, come back around. It's literally every single week of somebody else. You have it on the East Coast, you got it on the West Coast. You got, like I said, sexual preferences, you got religions. So it's par for the course right now that we're dealing with this situation as we are in the last quarter of the year. We basically only have about a month and a half left of this year, and this year is ending the same way it started, with every single group coming at foundational Black Americans. So when we say it is truly FBA versus the world, it is genuinely truly FBA against the world.
Facts. And real quick, before we get to Brother Eastsiders, I want to say shout out. I seen Melrose in here earlier, and shout out to Brother Sage. I see both of y'all. Y'all was at the rally. I seen y'all was on post. So shout out to Brother Sage and shout out to Brother Melrose, man. Appreciate y'all. Eastsiders, you got it, brother.
I appreciate that. Actually, that's just to say what I was going to say, about the Hispanics and everything with the 106 situation, because that answers that question that our brother Black Alpha was asking. Who's next? Well, I'm going to take it a step further. It's going to be another white ethnos. Probably, who knows? Probably the Irish again. They're probably going to argue with us about St. Patrick's Day. We already know the story behind that. But, you know how that go. Let's see, who else? Well, they hit us with the Asians already. They probably gonna blame us for Vietnam, even though, you know how that go too.
Facts.
And let's see. You know what? I ain't gonna prattle on about that, but basically, man, it's the old saying, together we stand, divided we fall. I'm gonna land there for now.
Hey, Eastsider, don't forget, brother. They're going to send out goddamn Jamel Hill and them, and they're going to write a whole article about Black men's hatred for goddamn house pets and Black men's secret hatred for goddamn Asian folks. And they're going to run that shit all through it and have about 25 news specials and talking about how Black folks have always hated everybody else and the Irish, and we really want to kill the goddamn leprechauns. We got to be very, very cautious of that shit, because they're going to tell those lies.
And one thing that when you mentioned the animals, man, living here in this city in Black Star, you can attest to this. Yeah, don't say that one too loud, because these nuts out here that actually take you up on it. Let's figure out how to do that. I mean, these people up here do more pet stories than they will ever talk about Black folks here. I'm dead serious, family. Like, I live in a city to where they are so anti-Black in the media that they would run a story about a cat doing a trick. Or a dog. Ooh, look at this dog. Look at this outfit. He's cute. Let's see the puppies. Oh, I just love those stories. That is literally the type of place I live in. Like, damn, all these Black businesses. Fuck the Black folks. Oh, but there was some crime that happened. That's when we get mentioned. Did you want to say something, Eastsiders? Go ahead, brother.
Yeah, I was going to say, you know what? It's funny y'all said the animals, man, because, they probably going to bring back the whole situation with Michael Vick. Because see, they got a long memory, but they don't realize we do too.
Oh shit! I didn't even think about that.
Hey, that's coming next, family. Hey, y'all get ready for the specials about Black folks anti-pet isms, and they're gonna have a whole thing about Black folks being anti-house pet.
And you know what? We kind of joking about this shit, family, but hey, man, we've seen a dude go to prison for fighting dogs. Not the same. And he wasn't even there. All they like, well, you discarded of these bodies wrong, so get these 5 years. My nigga, for real? I buried a dog that on the property, so I got to get charged for it. I mean, you kidding?
Hey, now, brother, don't forget the brother who then the guy he like popped at a police dog or something like that, and he ended up going to prison.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Oh yeah, if you harm a police dog. Oh, yeah, they got a person here in Oregon doing, what they doing, like 15 years? 15 years behind shooting one of them damn dogs. Like, it's real. Man, they are serious about these damn animals out here. And what's so crazy is, because I actually got into a back and forth with one of these weirdos. over them trying to celebrate them two sadistic lesbians that drove them heart children off the cliff. And I'm like, look, my issue with y'all is that y'all over here trying to have this love fest about these killer ass bitches, and y'all like fuck them kids. Cause I literally sat in a Facebook Live while they're over here, because like I said, these two nutty women were around, they are kind of around our musical scene here. So like I knew who these females was, and I already knew that the one broad, she can't stand black men. So I had no idea that they actually had adopted black children. I had no clue until one of my partners put me on to it when they was coaching Devontae to go hug the policeman. He didn't want to go do it. So he actually got the backdrop footage of that story. But nonetheless, just seeing how things work here in this city, man, these folks was over here like, oh, we're gonna try to send light and love. And these bitches drove these children off a cliff. And you knew the children were drugged. Y'all still sitting up, and you know what they told me? Let us grieve. None of them were grieving for the children, though. They were only grieving for the two killers. I'm like, God damn, y'all some pieces of shit. So come to find out, the truth has finally came out. Them bitches killed them. You know, these folks have never made a public apology to the black community. I was like, you guys is trash to me. Because you sit up here, fuck with our music, and then as soon as y'all seen them kids in distress, you flipped it and made it about them white women. That's the type of shit we have here in my city. And these are the type of liberal white folks that we deal with here in Portland, Oregon. And trust me, Portland, Oregon is a hotbed for the, I guess you could say, the Washington, D.C. crowd. So is a very strong relationship between here and Washington, D.C. Because here's where they have the think tanks of putting out all of their propaganda and everything that they're going to pile on black folks' backs. This is where they come to figure that out. So another thing I learned with these PETA people is that they are pro-abortion for our community. If you didn't catch that. So they're not pro-abortion for any other like that. They're only pro-abortion for our community. And that's real shit. So that's the one thing I learned here. But they're also like, we're vegans. These people are crazy. So there are vegans. They're against fur. Fur is murder. Eating meat is murder. Abortion is right. Can you digest that, brother?
Man, it's crazy as hell, man. Hey, that's what it always is. What we say, family, they'll be liberal in every aspect of life, except for when it comes to black people. When it comes to black folks, they're all what you would say conservative or whatever they consider anti-black, but they definitely ain't liberal. When it comes to animals and pets and dogs and cats and snakes, when it comes to the weather, climate control, El Nino, all of that type of shit, they'll be super, super progressive, super duper liberal. But when it comes to black folks, they straight up 1922 Mississippi. That's just what it is. And for the record, I want to make a disclaimer. Black men, we do not want to harm leprechauns. I love Lucky Charms. It's not as good as Captain Crunch, but we ain't out here trying to harm no goddamn leprechauns. Just put that on the table. So let everybody know. So when they write their little hit pieces and they try to blame black men for this, that, or the other thing, I would never want to do anything to a leprechaun because I need my Lucky Charms. And that's just what it is. Apple Jacks is good too. Eastside is on you, family.
You know what? I'm glad you put out that disclaimer because, see, with all the chemicals that's in these cereals that's doing us more harm than good, it's easy for them to start blaming us when we stop using their products. And that would be the one thing that they say, we got something against Irish people and all that other stuff. And back to the whole animal situation, if you see how they treat vets compared to they do, the animals, man, they sit there and say, oh, we should respect the flag and respect the military. I done seen them spit on vets, but you can't hurt a dog. This dude just fought for your country. Rex didn't. And I'll land there.
Hey, brother, Eastside, I'm glad you brought that up, family. Okay, just for everybody in the room, okay? After the reparations, after the reparations rally, went down or whatever, I got directions from my brother Torian Rain. Salute to Torian, man. Me and Queen Alpha, we walked to the White House. Okay, this is my first time in DC, but Torian Rains gave us, he was like, hey man, that way right there, you get to the White House in a minute. All right, so we went to the White House, me and Queen Alpha. Walked up there and I met a couple brothers that had just attended the rally and we had a good time. I ain't never told nobody this. Is just like literally what happened. My whole life I've been hearing this for my folks who are in the DC area. You guys know this, so this ain't breaking news to y'all. My whole life I've been hearing about homelessness right there 2 blocks up from the White House. I've been hearing about it for years. I remember Tupac used to talk about it. Everybody used to talk about it. I heard about it. I never seen it though. Okay. Where I'm from, my city, there's homelessness like anywhere else. But I ain't seen no homeless like this shit. I ain't never seen this much homelessness. And what I kept noticing is that the majority of people I seen that was homeless were black people. And I'm assuming that most of them were black Americans. This is what I seen. So I didn't get the chance to go to any of like the after parties or whatever. And I got some phone calls the next day to go to some, parties or to get up with everybody before we left. But what me and Queen Alpha ended up doing, we stayed an extra few hours and we actually went and got some food and was feeding some of the homeless people down there. I didn't go out afterwards. We went back to the hotel that night after the White House. We came back the next morning and I had the opportunity to meet up with all my brothers and sisters, but I just didn't do it because we wanted to go back downtown. And Zilla, by the way, I brought my pit bull with me, fam. But I went downtown or whatever. By the way, we went back to the White House area and I went to go meet up with some, some brothers and shit. And we was giving them food and everything. My mother actually had came and she got into it with I want to say a Mexican lady at one of the McDonald's or whatever, because a homeless dude went in there and he was crying. He said he ain't ate in, 2 or 3 days. I think he was a vet, like you were saying, Eastside. You know what I'm saying? I think he was a military vet. And he wanted to eat. And the lady was like, no. She like, you get out of here. You do this shit every day. My mom told the dude, my mom was like, yo, I'll buy him something. And then the lady was basically trying to get smart with my mom and was like, nah, he comes in here every day. My mom said, you can't tell me how to spend my goddamn money. Hell to the no. And this is a obviously non-FBA. This one was like Latino or something, Indian or something, but she wasn't black, put it that way. And the dude's literally on the floor crying or whatever. And they didn't want to allow my mom to get to do something. So my mom got him some. I got some other stuff for some couple people down the street. Everything I had, money in my pocket, food, whatever, you know what I'm saying? Because I couldn't leave, you know what I'm saying, seeing the condition of our folks. And I know for a fact that black folks represent, allegedly 12% of the population, is probably much more. Half of that are people who don't want to claim being black. But if we just do say that figure right there, but we represent 67% of the homelessness in the whole country, but we represent allegedly, 12 to 50. Even if we represent 25%, there's no goddamn reason that we should be 67% of the homelessness. And when I was in DC, the majority of folks I seen homeless were black Americans. Okay. And I know for a fact from traveling throughout this country that the majority of homeless people are black Americans. And on top of that, the majority of homeless people are ex-military veterans. So if you take 67% are black folks, and then the majority of new homeless cases are, Americans. We just had, Veterans Day a few days ago, and Veterans Day was a bunch of black people who served this country. Half those black folks are homeless. You see black folks from Vietnam. Matter of fact, me and Queen Alpha talked to a guy. He said he was homeless for 17 years and just got an apartment with his daughter. Okay, this guy was homeless for 17 years. This was, I think, he was a military veteran as well. Down here in Savannah, you see a bunch of homeless folks, and most of them homeless folks are ex-military veterans. Back up in Ohio, most of those folks who are strung out and are homeless are military veterans who just happen to be black. So this is something that we speak about that doesn't really get the spotlight on it. And I could not leave DC until I did a little part. What I did was small, it was minor, it wasn't nothing major at all. But I spent the next day, which was Sunday, before I hit the road and drove back to Georgia, feeding these guys and giving them money and, pizza, and I had muffins and everything that I could get, hooking these people up. And this is something that we don't focus on enough. So we'll have Veterans Day and we'll celebrate all these fucking W's and all this kind of shit. And then when I'm in DC and I'm walking down the street and I see non-FBA black folks with their nose in the air and just walking around us like they shit don't stink, but yet I'm seeing a black FBA homeless person on the ground crying and they won't serve him food, that shit rubbed me wrong. That rubbed me wrong. And it shows you the condition of our people. And this shit is happening 2 fucking blocks from the White House, where in that same White House, they're signing laws that bring in all these people and elevate these people above us. So as we sit here and we talk about this stuff from a strategic level and we see about it from a statistical level, when you see it with your own eyes, okay, the downplaying of foundational black Americans and the uplifting of immigrants above us, it hit different. It hits different. And that's why I couldn't leave until I did that. So I spent most of Sunday before we left, I was speaking to these folks who wasn't all no shit where I was like, here's some money, bye. I was trying to speak to these folks and really get a grip on the situation. And I salute anybody out there who does the same, man. We got to make sure that we understand when we start talking about canceling black men and black sisters as well, we're not just talking about on the celebrity aspect. Folks is being canceled all the way up from Hollywood all the way down to Main Street. And we got to make sure we focus on that. Zilla, I don't know if you want to chime in and then we can get to the hands.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Because I live in a city where we have a humongous homeless issue. And family, let me tell you something, man. These people don't give a damn about their own. Okay, and I can't stress that enough. These people absolutely do not give a damn about their own people. They only care about the objective of oppression and control. Now, of course, oppression's number one target is anti-black racism. So that's issue of the day, first number one. But if there are no black folks around, you got to remember you dealing with the devil, man. And so the devil don't stop being the devil just because there ain't no black folks around. Then they start picking at each other. Why you think you have all of these scooter the shooters out here that go look and tear up their own community? Because they go on mass shooting sprees in their own communities because number one, they don't have the balls to go to a black community where the real thugs is at. So they have to go get soft targets and they go hit the soft targets that they know. So again, you just got to understand the nature of the beast because the violence doesn't stop just because it doesn't have a black target. So with that being said, out here, most of our homeless are white. So I'm just letting you know on a big scale here, a lot of these homeless people are white. So just letting you know, like this type of issue, this is something that I guess we, as a family and the collective, we need to keep a real sharp eye on as well, because housing is another issue, and housing will be an issue coming down the pike for a lot of folks. And if you look at the model that they're using here in this city, that's telling you that, man, it's they're a test run when you start seeing a bunch of homeless white folks, but trust me, they're perfecting something. Y'all feel what I'm saying? So they over here using these little dusty white folks as preliminary action to get down to what they want to pull off on a mass scale. So just keep eyes on that in y'all's respective cities, family. With that being said, sister Aura, and then Eastsiders will go back to you. So sister, you can go ahead and unmute yourself. Sister Oracle, are you there?
Oh, I'm sorry. I was checking out something about a African heritage Turkish woman who was just arrested for a bomb that went off in Turkey. Anyway, so I'm sorry. I had to cut away because the news was coming on. Um, You know, the brother was talking about that a lot of the people that are homeless just have the majority of them are military people, but actually these military or so-called military people, the most of the people that are actually homeless in the United States are African heritage American children that come out of the foster care system, and the statistics on that are extremely high. And so there's so many things that are going on in the United States that I think that it's going to take some more time, but actually what we have to do as African American heritage people is we have to basically pull away from expecting anything from this so-called devil. Yeah. It's like we have to be more like other communities, yeah, and then we take responsibility, like not participating in the voting process that doesn't represent us, and just go ahead and just build our communities. But we're still fighting and arguing over of being accepted from these. I don't want to use the CRACK word, but we're still spending too much time trying to wait for these people to give us something whether it's crumb or the dust from the crumbs. Yeah. But I just wanted to mention that most of the people that are in homelessness are um, black children from the United States that come basically from being in foster care. So I just wanted to mention that.
Yes, indeed. Thank you, Sister Oracle. And I definitely see we have that situation here. Like I said, where I'm at, it's extremely white, so you see it play out with the different demographic, but nonetheless, it's still playing out the same. So a lot of those children that end up in foster care are definitely ending up on the streets. So because let's see, what's the name of it? New Avenues for Youth and Outside In are two programs here that kind of addresses that. I think I cooked for one of those one year. Oh yeah, New Avenue. So yeah, we have a lot of that going on here. The programs that they have really aren't helping. And so it's an extremely dire situation there. We probably need to do a live on that in the near future as well. But with that being said, East Siders, you got it, brother. Go ahead.
Hey man, to piggyback off of everything y'all just said collectively, man, especially up here in Ohio, because I'm in Cleveland. This is mini Chicago. But I'm gonna tell you now, man, I once actually said thank you for your service to a vet. One was palm color, as our brother Torian called him, and one was black. They looked at kind of, emotional and misty because don't nobody ever say that. One of the main things that happened, especially they was in the Vietnam era, they was being called all kind of baby killers. They was being dog, ragged, and everything, and as far as the homelessness, um, two things I want to point out. Number one, this is what we see in the vagrancy laws resurfacing and probably getting on steroids. And to your point, when you mentioned, where you at right now, Brother Zilla, that is mostly like palm colored folks. Keep in mind, Nelly Fuller he taught us about maximum sophisticated confusion. And the last one he mentioned was white sacrifice. And they'll do that if it's a means to an end. Look how long they've been feuding with each other before they finally landed on us. And I'll land there.
Can
Big
I make
fact.
a comment of what he was saying? If you're in a country and that country doesn't respect you as a citizen and treats you as bad as majority of the Black Americans, I always say African heritage Americans, but then why would you want to go in their army? Obviously, the person has no idea over geopolitique or what the army is really doing there, destroying and murdering other poor people from other poor lands just for their resources. There shouldn't be any reason for me to thank anybody, you have to excuse me, that goes into United States capitalist, corporate, fascist republic, New World Order, military industrial complex military. We shouldn't even be there. If they want to do some dirty work someplace else, then let the white folks do it. We shouldn't even be in their military. I'm really sorry, and I don't want to hurt anyone's feelings, but that's how I see that. We should not be in their military. Period. They don't do shit for us, and then they have nothing but alibi Negroes for to do the rest of the dust work. No, 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 no. If they want the military to work and function, send their own kids over there, or these people that they want a green card to the United States, they have a choice to get their green card by you can join the military, I think it's for 4 or 5 years, and then you get your green card. But then they use those people up and then export them also out. And so let these people do their own thing. And we should not be in their military.
I got to chime in on that. Sister, I
Oh,
agree. I'm a Eastside. I'm gonna let you come after me, family. Sister, I agree with you saying in logic. But a lot and most Black Americans who do join the military, it's purely economic. They're not there on the who would do a woo cool shit. They're literally there based upon they have no opportunities, nowhere out. They get stuck there when you. That's why most of the time Army recruiters go to the low income areas. They go to the projects and they feed off of brothers and sisters who have no opportunities. A lot of these brothers who have been in hard situations, come from the projects, come from the ghetto. A lot of times they don't even truly on a deep level understand the geopolitical aspect of it and the military industrial complex level of it. They're only literally thinking about getting by to the next day. Yes, you do have a bunch of coons who do join the military and they think they're doing work for the dominant society, but the average brother I know that was in the military, that shit was just a job to them. It was just a job. So while someone else is waving a flag and they're doing backflips for Uncle Sam, they're not there. They're there to go in, and clock out, and provide opportunities. I have friends that were in the military and they were just like your average person out here struggling. They didn't have any type of college education. They they were in high school. They were struggling. They had children, and it was either going to the military and provide for your family or live a 9-to-5 life in those ghettos. And they seen that as a way to get out and to travel the world. So I understand what you're saying in logic, and I actually agree that it would, be in our best interest not to, but I don't view all soldiers. I used to think like that, but I don't view all soldiers in that aspect because I do know a lot of soldiers are literally in it for the job. It's like somebody who's working at Walmart. Because I mean, really, at the end of the day, everything you do in this country, you're going to be serving the dominant society unless you're doing anything that's Black independent. And unfortunately, we don't have Black independent at our disposal all across the board. So you're going to be in situations where you will be serving a conglomerate dominant society faction. But at the end of the day, it's why you're doing it. So I do know soldiers who were in the military. A lot of brothers and sisters who went to Vietnam, they did not go because they loved the military. They went, a lot of them, because they got drafted. My best friend's
But now
uncle.
they're not being drafted. I
But
would rather have my honor and my respect as a Black person and just be working my little 9 to 5 and living in my ghetto and participating in my community than to join these people's army.
well, I understand that.
Seriously.
Like I said, in logic, I understand that. But in terms of you'd rather live your 9 to 5 and just work here, there. 9 to 5 is why a lot of folks end up being homeless, because 9 to 5 don't pay for kids. 9 to 5 don't pay for diapers, don't pay for milk, don't pay for any of that. And a lot of times they're trying to take their people out of those areas so they can raise their kids in different environments and get them out. And not all people who go into the military are actual wartime soldiers. A lot of these folks go and they do their few years and then they get out. But the few years that they went, it ended up providing them an opportunity. And to sit here and speak of the military, Neely Fuller was in the military. Bobby Seale was in the military, as well as others that were in the military, from the Marine Corps all the way down to the Army. So it's not necessarily about being in the military. Trust and believe, half of those soldiers that fueled the civil rights era were folks who came home from World War II. And they came home from World War II and they learned a lot of different things there in the military, and they used those assets to come back to the community and to build the community. They didn't go there for the cooning and for the tap dancing or to serve, the dominant society. They went to actually learn things. They got money in the meantime, and they came and brought back a lot of that. Tupac Shakur's godfather, Geronimo Pratt, was in Vietnam, and this guy was getting dropped behind enemy lines in Vietnam, where the life expectancy in Vietnam was about 2.5 weeks, and he was getting dropped behind enemy lines doing reconnaissance missions and coming back by himself. These aren't little wimps and little suckers that are joining and trying to serve the white man. These are folks that are really going there about that business and about that life. So I don't sit here and cast all military soldiers on that, because I know some military soldiers who are FBA, who are Black, who will ride for the cause every day, every which way. So I understand what you're saying in logic, but I'm not talking about the world it ought to be. I'm talking about the world it is. And the world that it is, brothers and sisters who have served in the military, and a lot of people here on this panel, their family members have served in the military, and they made it out, they came back, and they bettered their community. So I look at it from more of the aspect of how you do it opposed to just doing it. Eastside, I know you want to jump on.
Oh yeah. And I'll keep this short because I know we want to keep it moving. And because you basically said everything I was gonna as well. As far as bringing back the skill to the community. As far as an anecdote, personally, I was looking at 15 years in prison on that gangbanging tip. So it's either 15 in prison or 4 years in the service. And I wasn't finna go out like that. I ain't gonna lie to you. I ain't trying to go to nobody's joint. You know what I'm saying? I always hear the older, Black folks say, "Oh man, the military in a place for a Black man," but I always say neither is prison, but we're still going. So what's the difference? Either way, I got some white guy telling me what to do. I might as well get paid more than $18 a month for it. Yeah, like you mentioned, It's
You have to be
we
a
can bring those
criminal
skills.
and do something bad to be into a statistic of ending up in prison. Yeah, it's not enough to just say I'd rather go into the military. A lot of these guys, they're poisoning our communities with drugs and other stuff, and they're also landing like that, or doing drive-bys and other things.
Well,
And
all due,
so,
my apologies, but all due respect, that didn't work out for Khalif Browder. You know, he wasn't a criminal. He got accused of something he didn't do, and he ended up being sentenced to. He got sent up in Rikers Island, and with all the tormenting,
yeah, but
that he
I
suffered.
remember this story, and I'm sorry to hear that, but that's not the case for so many of those brothers that are in there. We have to
Well, not
think
the
community
majority, but
first.
considerably. Not by majority standards, but considerably. It's a lot of brothers that have done 10, 15, 20 years for something they didn't do. All these old rape cases from back in the 70s and 80s, that come back, and murder cases, where they didn't have sufficient DNA testing, at that time. And, after, for, anywhere between 2 and 4 decades, of a prison sentence, they end up getting exonerated, and these in a state, have to pay off excess amount of money because of it. And that's not to say that we're not doing anything. You're absolutely right. The culpability is with us, as to how we, as to how we are, in the community. And it is something that we need to address and we need to change, for ourselves and take accountability. I'll always say that amongst my people, but I won't say it amongst the dominant society because they're going to use that as a catapult to escape their own culpability and their own accountability. So I'll end there.
I can absolutely dig it. Now, as far as the prison side goes, no, not everybody in prison is guilty of doing something negative or bad. I went to prison for defending myself against a white man, but because of the Dred Scott decision, which is still on the books, they could still use that. So there is no rights that a white man has to, especially not up here in the state of Oregon. And they go against any black man that wins any kind of altercation. So, you're the criminal right off the rip. That's the system of white supremacy, not the system of criminality. So, the one thing we always want to be mindful of is not putting the criminal tag on our folks too soon and too early, just because the system will put that on us, because we can too easily fall into that trap of writing our folks off. Now, with that being said, as far as the military service goes, a lot of our black militant groups and Second Amendment individuals who teach people in gun responsibility and such and so forth, most of them are former military trained. You have airline pilots. You have all sorts of things that has afforded people careers that they would not have been able to get into without the military. So I do understand. I understand the pros and cons of it. Me myself, I would not want my children, my sons, to go. But I do have relatives and family members that are currently active military. And one thing I always want to point out: to be a soldier takes a certain kind of person. And that kind of individual that is willing to put their life on the line, regardless if you care about their politics or not, always have to understand somebody who is willing to put their life out there to protect other people who are not protecting themselves. So I always want to make sure that the respect of a soldier is there. You can hate the government, but the action of a soldier is a special individual, and I always have nothing but the utmost respect for a person that even can mentally handle that job. You understand what I'm saying? So I don't like to be, again, and I have felt certain kind of ways before about it myself, but as I'm just, as maturing and you learn more from different men in your experience as you get older, I could never find myself disrespecting anybody willing to go do that. You feel what I'm saying? Um, and
I
so
feel
again,
you.
yeah. So I mean, we all always could definitely agree to disagree about, and I would. I've had a conversation with a Marine about my respect for soldiers, but I even had to ask him. I said, "Could you honestly say that you were morally okay with the reasons for you being there? And he said no. So, I mean, trust me, soldiers ain't just mindless zombies. They're human beings too. So I always want to just give that level of grace and respect. But Brother Alpha, we have addressed this situation today about Kyrie, Kanye, and Chappelle being attacked as a proxy for all black men. And what we ended up doing was unpeeling an onion. And we ended up hitting a lot of different layers of this thing. What if anything, really stuck out to you about this particular conversation, brother?
Now that we sit here and break it down, family, and we go from one person to the next person, what I'm realizing is, and through a couple points that I identified, and then a couple other ones that other brothers and sisters have pointed out, is the reeling in process, the domino effect. How it starts with one individual and then it leads to the next individual. As you pointed out, brother, the baby had his situation, and somehow that got dragged on to Dave Chappelle. And then Kyrie Irving has his situation. Now that's getting drugged back on to Dave Chappelle. How we sat here and we watched it happen with Kanye West about a month ago, probably less than a month ago. And then that went on to Kyrie Irving. And I was watching it saying, watch, they're going to tie Kyrie. And as soon as it even popped up with Kyrie, I knew it wasn't going to go away, and eventually blew up. So I'm seeing how it starts off with one of our brothers or our sisters, and then it leads to the next one, it leads to the next one, it leads to the next one, and how the dominant society purposely does that. How they purposely do that, and how folks will jump in and add folks on. Trust and believe, Shaquille O'Neal, Charles Barkley, so on and so forth. These are the individuals that drag people into it. They could have easily been quiet. They could have easily said nothing. And it's what we were talking about earlier, is the prepaid buck, and how these people are prepaid through butter biscuits and whatever little trinkets that they receive to bring brothers and sisters into it. And as well as the apologies. Make sure that when you start to apologize for something, apologize to whom matters to you. Okay, don't go and apologize to the dominant society, because they're not here for your apology. And a lot of means they use your apology as a catalyst, basically for public humiliation. So we got to understand all of these elements are at play. So when you cancel one brother, you cancel one sister, they're trying to collectively cancel the whole community. It's never about one of us. It's never. The dominant society doesn't think about individuals. They may use an individual as a proxy, as you have in the title, but that individual is being used as that proxy to bring down the collective. So, I mean, there's so many things that we touched on. And as we said, we wanted to connect the dots. But the main key and the main core is that the apologies, don't even waste your time, because they don't give a damn about your apology. If they did, you wouldn't have to apologize 6-7 times in a row. That's number one. Number two is how they will reel in every single black person. And three is the outlaw aspect. And I think our brother Black Star kind of pointed that out. When you start dealing with that, it's a person who is an outlaw, who has an energy and conducts themselves with the type of behavior that is anti-establishment, or you're not doing, as they say, as the guy said, we can put Kyrie in his place. Understand, once they feel that they cannot put you in your place, then they're going to attack you and throw everything at you. And when our brother Kyrie a year ago went and he did what he did, and he stood on what he stood on, they knew that they was going to come after him or whatever they could. So also, and I'm going to say this last thing, who's next? Because there will be somebody else. This little saga of people taking their turns coming at foundational Black Americans and trying to paint their anti-Blackness upon us. We got to remember, there will be somebody else next. There will be another person that they tie in. And those who end up defeating the system, they're going to end up coming up with something different. I said it here in this recording. There will be something else about Kyrie Irving that has nothing to do with this at all. It'll have nothing to do with what he refused to do a year ago. There will be some contrived story about our brother Kyrie Irving in the future as means to bring him down and to stop his what they consider outlaw behavior, so they can be prepaid bucks and they can stop Black empowerment.
Real talk. So again, family, I want to thank everybody for coming in and hanging out in this space. I see our brother Torian Rain in the house, Afro Elite, shout out Willa Perry, and all of the speakers. She means business, and of course Black Star TV. Shout out to all of y'all, and Eastside Sister Oracle, and crew, Ray. We have Ray up here. So shout out to all of y'all. If I forgot anybody, please charge it to my grave.
Hey, Stella, let me say this before we rock, family. Let me say
Uh,
this. Why we here, man? We deal with all this type of slander and all this propaganda and all these, counter statements. The best thing that you combat this with, because we're not gonna leave without, putting out some type of tangible solutions. The best thing that
mhm.
you do is that you have counterintelligence. Counterintelligence means coming with the opposite of the bullshit they say. They're gonna say everything about our brother Kyrie Irving. They're gonna say the same things about Dave Chappelle. They've been saying it about Minister Farrakhan, and eventually it'll be somebody else. But the best means of that is every time you hear bullshit, follow people like the new black media, as we say. As a matter of fact, while y'all here, make sure you subscribe to my brother Bzilla. Make sure you
Mhm.
subscribe to Afro Elite. Make sure you subscribe to Torian Reigns. Make sure you subscribe to Kid Gravity, he was there earlier, and make sure you subscribe to the Black Alpha Network. Y'all all swing over to YouTube and subscribe to us, because you're going to turn on your TV and you're going to see a bunch of slander about black men, black women, and the black family. But it's going to be people like us, as well as Tariq Nasheed and Jason Blacks and Professor Blacks. We're going to give the counteract to that. So this ain't like the past when they would say something and we just had to live with it. Nah. That's gone. The new day is they can say whatever slander they want, but then you can tune into the new black media, me included, as well as my brothers, and we're going to give you the real facts beyond all the bullshit that they throw at us. So make sure you subscribe to the new black media, support the new black media, because we're going to continue to give true checks, fact checks, and reality checks.
So, real quick, we're gonna get ready to wrap this space up, family. So I'm gonna give Sister Oracle and Eastsiders a chance to say a closing word. Then I'm gonna go ahead and close. I'll give my closing words, and then we'll let my brother Black Alpha close us out. So, Sister Oracle, go ahead, sister. You got it.
I'd like to thank the brother man that gave me also another perspective from another side, something I could think about and learn from. I just want to thank you guys for that.
Thank you, and thank you for sharing, sister. I appreciate it. Eastside, is this on you, brother?
Oh man, and I appreciate our sisters as well as our brothers too. No one get left behind. That's no military mantra. No one's left behind. But also, I think it's important that we understand how psyops work. And how propaganda plays a major role. As a matter of fact, it's the first step. They say the first casualty is the truth. We go all the way back to 1915 with D.W. Griffith, The Birth of a Nation. How did they portray black people then? They portrayed us as a bunch of rapacious marauders, and the only way that they can say they purchase, dominant society is by the Ku Klux Klan. Remember, they started off as a joke. They supposed to be pranking us, wearing masks and chasing us through the wood to free slaves and all of that. And then before you know it, it became a whole society that's bent on control. And they destroy what they can control. I mean, if you don't believe that, look at all the countries that we didn't been at war with so far. Look at what they did to Gaddafi, you know. And if you hear anything concerning the female with our brothers Kanye and Kyrie Irving, just know that's the honey trap. That's another part of that's how espionage work in order to gather information or to attain blackmail. Again, we gotta know how this stuff works, y'all. I'm out.
Big facts, brother. And hey, man, uh, it's a good time to be married. I will tell you that, because man, uh, but they're gonna send everything at the family. So if they have a target on you, trust me, everything's coming and everything you like. They know how to find it, get it, and trap you. So yeah, that's the one thing. It just if you got something hanging around you that's like too good to be true, it might just be. I'm just saying. But with that being said, man, I want to thank everybody else again. Thank all of y'all for hanging out with us again. We love to have these positive, constructive spaces. Our spaces are not about the drama. We only like to build, move forward, and display absolute Black excellence. We are foundational Black American, freedmen, and we are here about our justice claim. We are here about our own building, and we are here to go ahead and repair our own relationships within our own household and community, and that's how we are moving forward here. So again, of course, shout out to my brother Black Alpha Network, and Queen Alpha, wherever you are right now, sister. And which my queen is on the way home. So yeah, man, thank all of y'all, man. Appreciate all y'all. And one thing we gonna do, we gonna make sure we always circle the wagons around the real ones. Because just like Professor Black Truth says, you only have your advocates so long as you advocate for them. Because if you do not advocate for them, you won't have any more advocates. And we see what they have done to our people in the past. So let's make sure we circle the wagons, protect the good ones. We might have to G-check the bad ones. Not everybody needs to be necessarily just immediately written off, but sometimes some people just got to be put on that island. And like my brother said, set their ass out like it's trash day. Got to go over here. So it is what it is, family. So shout out to Kyrie, and good luck, Kanye. And shout out to Dave Chappelle, and of course, shout out to Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan for even coming, pulling people together to even stand with the family, and that's a big, major move, and extremely commendable. And it was going on the same weekend as the rally for reparations. So just by that proxy, that's positive Black energy from Chicago all the way to Washington, D.C. Can't be mad at that. So y'all have a blessed week, but make sure, again, you follow me, YouTube, Beatzilla PDX Official. Go follow Black Alpha Network on YouTube. And like we already said, all the others, Torian Rain, Kid Gravity, Afro Elite. So make sure you go check us out, family. And with that being said, Black first, Black first, Black first. Shalom, y'all have a blessed day. To my brother.
Peace and blessings. Good night.
Hey, peace and blessings. Hey, shout out to you, Sister Oracle, Eastsiders, everybody who spoke, everybody who's in the room right now. I'm gonna keep it real brief. I'm gonna keep it real simple like this. Remember, anytime they try to cancel one of us, they try to cancel all of us. So find out who's on code and stick with them. Find out who's off code and leave them be. If somebody's not on code, don't provide them the services of being on code. Okay, if somebody's off, do not come and save them. Let them be on their own. Kanye, hey, good luck. Kyrie, stand next to you because you conducted yourself in a proper fashion. So salute to everybody. And remember, every time you see the Charles Barkley of the world, the Shaquille O'Neals of the world, the Shannon Sharps of the world, the LeBron James of the world, every time you see them come out and they try to throw one of us under the bus, let's combat that with 10 of us who ride for our brother or ride for our sister. So when we say that they come after black men, understand they come after black men, they come after black women. And if you come after both of them, then you're coming after the black family, and we ain't going for none of that. So it's another good space, man. Y'all catch me and my brother back again. Probably we might do one this week. You never know. But anytime you see the Certified True, that's me and my brother. No drama, none of that nonsense, just real, sticking to the point, sticking to the truth. Shout out to everybody I met personally at the rally. Shout out to everybody who's in the space right now. One love. And I'm gonna leave this as our brother Fred Hampton says, and this applies to the situation. Remember, no matter what they do, they can jail a revolutionary, but they can never jail the revolution. With that said, one love, everybody. Peace, power, deliver.